Welcome back to Memes and Markets. Keith, how are you, man?
It's the best day of my life, Ben. How are you?
Today's absolutely fantastic. We have one of my favorite follows on Instagram here with us. So Jack, aka TheJaunt, how are you, man?
I'm doing well.
Awesome, dude. So how would you describe what you do on social media? Like if someone comes up to you and says, like, what do you talk about? What do you do? How do you describe that?
The short answer is I just say I talk about psychology and philosophy. I usually also like don't, if someone's like, oh, you make social media, let me see. I'm like, I'll give you the name and you can watch it later because I don't want to like stand there while they're like going through my reels and I'm watching them with them. But the way I describe it in my bio is I state the semi-obvious, so things that like I think everyone is kind of thinking, but which probably wouldn't be expressed either because they're taboo or they're just like maybe a little bit too nuanced to come up in casual conversation. So like I had a video talking about how certain people are kind of like hybrid texters. They either text you one text message and that's it, one word, or they're sending you like boom, 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 8 messages, paragraphs. And I'm like, that's something that everyone thinks because everyone has someone in their life who's a hybrid texter. But, it just takes someone to come along and package it into words and make it clean and then say it on video. So that's what I kind of do.
That's awesome, man. Like Keith and I basically do that all the time when we're talking to each other. So, but it was really cool to see someone who did that in like a content format because I don't think many people have really done that all that well. And I think that's why people resonated with you so deeply.
Yeah, and it's crazy that I can make a living from it. Like, because 10 years ago, you never would have been like, oh, I'm going to make a living from just like saying things that people think but never say. Like, what? In like 1 minute bursts? I think traditionally that was probably what like a writer would do, but they had to, bang out 80,000 words to get there.
Most definitely. So, Keith, go. You got some?
Well, I just wanted to ask, like, out of all of the stuff that you've covered on your page, what is your favorite sort of topic to talk about?
I like talking about dating because I just feel like and I'm like kind of embarrassed of this because the implication of my saying that I'm like an expert in dating is that I've like done too much of it. Like I'm like, it's not good to be too good at dating because it either means it means you're kind of a scumbag, like you're a slime. But I would say I have done an exorbitant amount of dating and like probably have more data there than the average guy or like 95% of guys. So it's the thing where like if someone asks me, I feel like I have authority in that area and I can just like go off the dome versus if you ask me about, relationships, I'm not a relationship expert, but I know what to do on a first date, second date, third date type thing.
So let's get into some of that then. The first reel that we have here pulled up is about compliments and tension. So I'm going to play that, and then we'll have you expand on some of your thoughts about it.
You got it.
Been on multiple dates for me, okay? Where I have transitioned the date back to my place. And as we're transitioning, the girl says something to me like, wait, why do you even want me to come back? I thought you didn't like me. She's saying this to me as she's coming back to my place. I thought you didn't like me. And I say, what do you mean? And they say, well, you didn't compliment me at all. That is so interesting. And I actually would argue that it's the fact that I don't compliment them is part of the reason that they're coming back to my place. This has been studied to death, by the way. I'm not even doing this necessarily to be conniving or toxic. I actually do this because if I genuinely do like them, I know it's important that I don't immediately thrust them into the admired role. If from the very beginning it's me just saying, "Wow, you're so cute, you're so beautiful, you're so smart, you're this," from day one I've just become their house pet. I don't want to spoil this great tension that we have. I think you can even pull a little bit of that into a relationship. Be sparing and be meaningful with your compliments. This has happened on multiple dates for me, okay? Where I have transitioned the date back to my place. And as we're
Okay, we're looping.
Keith, yes, looping.
So you want to walk us through some of that, or like how that showed up in your life? Do you stand by that to this day the same way?
How about I'm curious first, do you guys agree or do you disagree? And then I'll bounce back off you.
I would say that I do agree. From my anecdotal experiences, I'd say that that is unfortunately accurate.
Yeah.
Keith?
I've I spent time on the sphere of YouTube in terms of, studying some of those things, and like you notice it if you experiment with that. It definitely has a major impact. I hate it, but it's real.
Yeah. I kind of almost think of like psychology as having two different schools. You know how in Harry Potter there's like I don't know what they call the normal magic, but there's like dark magic, the dark arts, and then there's like the good arts, the good magic. I think in psychology there's like therapy psychology where they're like be authentic, tell your honest self, tell people how you feel about them. And then there's the dark arts which is like don't tell this girl how pretty she is for the first 3 dates and she's going to like you because of it. So it's like I don't like it either. It's just I've noticed it from experimenting with this sort of stuff that like you don't lose anything from holding back a little bit to not like overwhelm them, especially if the girl's pretty and she's being pretty, that she's being told all the time that she's pretty and you're the first guy who comes along and you never say anything about her looks. It drives them mad. Like it drives them because they're like, when is he gonna say something about that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you got something. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the messed up thing about this that I realize as you're saying that is like the prettier the girl is, like the less I'm gonna do that, right? Like if they're not
If she's
at least
really
as
insecure, you
confident.
can go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think we as people, we seek novelty and scarcity, and like an ever abundant access to people now. These kind of pattern interrupts only happen during things like this, right? Where he's saying, "Oh, I know that that's what's taking place. Like I'm doing this kind of thing." Whereas like other, because there's so much advice basically saying to do the opposite, right? And so most people are going to those places because it's also, why would you say, actually what I was asking on that is, why would you say that most guys don't know that or don't do it?
I don't know exactly what you would call this, but I think there has been like a multi-decade long psychological propaganda campaign that has told men to act a certain way with women, and it's women who have created the messaging for this, and the messaging is basically favorable to them. So when I say don't compliment her too much, girls hate that because they want to know exactly how you feel about them. They hate the uncertainty, they hate the power dynamic. But at the same rate, the second you compliment them and you tell them that you like them too early, they're like out the door looking for the Chad who's not responding to them. So I think so much of psychology has been infiltrated because it's mostly a female field, really, frankly. It's like overwhelming. I studied psychology in school, it was like 90% in the lectures. So they write the books, they're the therapists, and then they tell guys, oh, you like this girl? You should tell her how you feel, you know? There's this guy, I don't want to throw him under the bus, I won't drop his name, but he's a big dating coach on Instagram, and I just look at him and I think he's selling to women because he's telling women and people, he's basically saying like if you like them, tell them right away, tell them you're attracted to them, tell them. I'm like, good luck with this shit, buddy. This is never gonna go over on a date. Like you're gonna have people going out the door. So I don't know. I look at all this. I'm like, there's stuff that sounds good on paper, and then there's stuff that works. I'm interested in stuff that works.
Yeah, I am too, but that pisses people off so much, man. Like, if I had to say, like, what is one of the things that I do that pisses people off the most is that I try to do that almost all the time, and then it forces people to look objectively at something, and that almost always makes them angry. Would you agree with
Yeah,
that?
yeah. No, don't rock the boat, man. Don't poke their conceptual schema.
So to this idea though of like that open communication thing, I feel like part of it is somewhat cultural too. And you're somewhere outside of the US. Are you from the US originally, Jeff?
Yeah, from New York area.
Okay, okay. Well, that's a pretty diverse place to start. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but do you feel like some of that is also cultural? Do you really think that's purely like natural biological sorts of things that lead to where you complimenting a woman earlier on or expressing interest in a woman early on that leads to a woman not wanting to be around that? Or is it just a cultural thing?
Okay, that's very interesting. So for people who don't know, I live out in Thailand right now, but I've been here for 2.5 years. I've done plenty of dating in the States and plenty of dating out here. I would say generally the stuff that works at one place works anywhere. So the dark arts of withholding compliments and being a little bit mysterious always works. What I do notice though is women in Asia are a little bit more modest, and so they maybe need a little bit more affirmation than women in the States. Women in the States are kind of told constantly through their programming. I'm making massive generalizations here, right? But they're constantly told you are enough, you're beautiful, you're perfect the way you are. They don't get that messaging in Asia. They might be told by their mom, you're ugly, so you're going to have to marry a rich man. That's how these Asian parents speak. They just give it flat, you know? So like that girl, if you go too hard with the dark arts with her, she might actually just be like, this is screwed up, you know? It still might work on her, but it's like I don't know if you need to do that sort of stuff as much when people are like in line with objectivity. It's more that like I think you kind of need that stuff to bring back the sort of people who are too ideological.
Yeah, no, I agree with a lot of that. One thing that I always find so fascinating to watch as an observer is how it's totally okay and justifiable for women to pick what it is that they like, and like that's what we like because we like it, so you should optimize for that. But if the guys try to do the same thing, it's a problem, right? Like what I think about all the time is what attracts the opposite sex is up to the opposite sex. So like, why is it problematic either way? Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm.
No.
Girls get to say, you need to optimize for these attributes. Okay. Right.
Mhm, mhm.
That's totally fine because that's what they want. Duh. Right. If guys say the same thing, it's like a hate crime.
Gotcha.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, okay, the whole like, does body count matter? Right. The only people that should get to decide that are men, if that matters to them. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, why is that problematic? Whereas like, it's totally okay for these things to be optimized towards. That's fine. That's accepted because that's what they want. Why is it not fair on both sides? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think, yeah, well, and I think that like what you're saying is harder for, well, so to the idea that what has been being pushed on everyone for the past, let's say 50, 60, 100 years, I don't know, has been like pure straight up equality, right? Just equality of all sorts of kinds, you know, in every way, then it would be sensical that that one side demanding something different than the other side would become controversial, right? If everyone is completely equal in every way. So I think that's kind of where, you know, maybe the question then becomes, is everyone equal in every single way? Because people are asking for different things, right? And then then that becomes less controversial. That's how my mind is computing that. What are your thoughts on any of that, Jack? Any thoughts there?
I mean, I personally don't want it to be equal. I want us to play into our strengths, kind of type thing. And I think there's a decent amount of women who feel that way as well. They're like I'm okay with women judging men for how much money we have, so long as we can judge them for body count or whatever. I mean, I don't even really care that much about body count. It's like, so long as it's not excessive, I'm not like trying to here. I don't even want to know the number, but anyhow, I'm okay with some of those inequalities personally, so long as uh, both sides have something that they don't have to do that the other side does. Basically, that for me would be equality. I also just don't put too much thought into what they say they want, because I feel like everyone says they want something that's very different from their actions. Not just women, guys do this as well. Like, guys could say that they want a girl who's cooking and this and she's submissive, and then they meet that girl and they're like, wow, this is boring, you know. And women could say they want a guy who's in touch with his feelings and he's super supportive, and then they date him, they're like, wow, this guy makes me want to run away, you know.
Another thing that you said throughout some of this was you said it works when talking about this holding back of the feelings and whatnot. What does that mean in particular here when you say it works? Do you mind elaborating on some of that?
Well, this opens up another can of worms, because that guy just commented that he's been in a relationship for 20 years or whatever. Because I think some of this stuff works in the short term. I don't know if you could be with your wife and never compliment her, and I don't think that would be a wise thing to do. I
Of
think
course.
though, I think just how in anything, in baseball, you have a pitcher who starts the game, then you have a different pitcher who ends it. Like, there's different strategies for different phases of human relationships, and I think in the early phase of dating, you have to be heavy on the games. And the game just means don't reveal too much, don't be too intense with them, be a little bit mysterious, but be playful, all this, whatever. And then I sometimes wonder, because I'm not old enough to know this, but I think you gotta keep an element of that into the relationship, into the marriage, but it can't be like you're making your wife feel insecure all the time because you don't, give her proper attention. I just think, yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think on that? Because this is something I genuinely wonder, and I've even heard the red pill guys saying, they're like, are you supposed to have frame in a marriage? Are you supposed to neg in a marriage? It's like, I don't know, man.
I personally think that it evolves beyond that, but I think this is just the natural evolution of the tools that we use to interact with each other and conduct social hierarchy are just so radically different from anything we've ever had before. Like, I think these are just natural adaptations to things we did as whatever we were, and to how we now navigate the current social game. So it only makes sense with that much more sheer choice that the stakes of these games would perceptively be higher, right? So because you're getting the best of the best, because everyone can access everyone too, right? So there's so much choice too, which I think creates the whole the paradox of choice thing. But I'd love to hear you, Keith.
No, yeah, I mean, just to further break down what you're saying, because you've done this plenty of times on previous podcasts, but it's like if you look at Instagram or even an actual dating app like Tinder, um, you are looking at the most extreme versions, right, of everything, right? On the dating apps, they show you the prettiest or most attractive people first, and then on Instagram, you're constantly being fed crazy levels of wealth or beauty and fitness. And so not only that, but as the person posting and getting attention for these things, um, if you're a girl and you're attractive, you're getting your DMs flooded with people who are not just incels, not just, guys who don't have any prospects in life, but also the other guy who's on the other side of the world with a Monaco mansion and a yacht. And he's saying, I'll fly you out. Right. And these are people who, I lived in Miami. I tell the story all the time. 19-year-old girls at Drake's table. You know what I'm saying? Like crazy stuff.
Older people think it doesn't happen, Keith. Like because they're like, there's no way that's happening, and they also don't get that. There's so many dynamics that play into this, but like a lot of these guys who have this status, they know they can pull that, and so they do it all the time. And so many girls have been with someone like that, right? So then they're like, there's so many girls that think like, I'm only settling for that.
Right.
And then it just creates this absolute cluster where it's like, no, that's delusion. But what you're optimizing towards will dictate what you can access given the circumstance.
Just to touch on the intensity of what that can look like. These figures will have people that they hire to do this outreach for them.
No way. You've heard of that?
Oh, of course. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
That's crazy. See, like, how could I don't understand how people like don't realize to a degree if that's what's taking place if they get inundated with that much stuff. I don't understand because like I've even had a situation personally where this happened to me. I was with a girl, I was seeing her, and then this like super rich guy slid in her DMs and basically like took her from me. And it's just like, I'm like, there's no way this happens. And then it happened to me, and I'm like, oh my God, this actually happens. And then later I found out that what she would do while we were together is when she post a photo, when she wasn't posting a photo, her profile was private. But then when she went public to post photos so that new people could see her stuff. And I wouldn't know this because I was following her the whole time, right? So how would I see that it was switching back and forth? Because it doesn't change unless you're not following them. And so it's like, it's crazy the draw that this must be. And I can't even really fault women for this, truthfully, because we would be taking advantage of it too if it was flipped.
Totally.
Like 100% we would.
Yeah. But I also, I mean, the older and older I get, I don't know what you guys feel, but like, I really feel like most women are pretty good. Like they would not respond to the guy in the DM. That is actually a small portion of women. I don't know if that's me being naive or hopeful, but
I think that's
I meet
true.
so many great women all the time that I'm just like, wait, they're not out like being like animals like these red pill guys are trying to make you believe. Like maybe 1% or 5% of the party girls are, but like don't get so down on them. I know that population exists, the girls that are getting in the bus and they're going to Drake's club. And I know I've heard the same thing about Leo DiCaprio, where he just like he'll like point at a girl and then his people go over and they get her to sign the NDA and then she gets on the van or whatever. Like there is insane shit like that. But I am still a hopeful romantic in most regards, and I feel like everything keeps proving that.
I think that's the right perspective to take, but I think the issue is perception creates reality. And with all these social media platforms, they reward anomalies to the point where you can't perceive them as an anomaly anymore. Right. So that's why so many more guys think that girls are like this. And that's also why girls think every guy is so scary or like angry. It's because think about the guy who is in the comment section, like getting angry about this stuff. He's not the top 5% Chad that's getting all the girls. Right. So like, people's view of what the opposite sex is so distorted. It's so funny, like, listen and watch this stuff because no one's thinking about who is that person that's leaving the comment. They're just like, all I see are these kinds of comments or this kind of behavior. So that must be what everyone is doing, that's just not true.
I even notice myself sometimes making content responding to these ideas, and then I'm like, wait, I've never met a girl like that. Why am I even making a video?
That's
like
awesome.
that?
But you're a really smart dude where you can catch yourself in doing that. Most people will just go and build a whole career off of that.
Well, I try, but I have my cringe videos out there as well.
But I mean, like, that's how we got so messed up, is because people became more and more radicalized.
That, though. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
Moving on to some more of the dynamics between men and women, you have this short where you talk about mansplaining. So let me play that one real quick.
That thing about the term mansplaining is that it pathologizes one of the more innocent and sincere aspects of male psychology, namely that men, and this is not just exclusive to men, but it's just natural for men, but men from a very early age, like when they're a little boy onward, are interested in building a mental model of the world. Like they don't, it's not enough to have GPS. They want to know all the roads and the streets around them and have it in their head type thing like that. And I'm sure you've noticed this with your dad. Like your dad knows a little bit about everything. He's not an expert on many things, but he just knows random stuff about different wars throughout history and politics and all this stuff. And it's kind of a patchy knowledge, but it's because he was grasping for little pockets of truth and trying to build his model as he was growing up. And so many of the times when a guy is like mansplaining to a girl, he's really just excited to share his mental model with that girl. And he actually is sharing his mental model as like a little gift. It's like a little kid showing you their artwork. Like they're proud of it. And that's why they get excited about it. And I think that excitement gets misinterpreted as being like oppression, like he's trying to just talk over me and like he's trying to talk down to me, but it's really like he's like, oh, I've modeled this, I'm going to share this with you type thing. And yeah, I'm sure there's times where you know exactly what he's going to tell you, or you maybe even know more than what he's going to tell you, but it's just his way of like gift giving. The sad thing about the
ZME F42 said, is he mansplaining? Mansplaining? No, but I mean, I think that's a very, very interesting thought. And I mean, my first thought when I saw that was like, oh no, this is going to make a lot of people upset because like short form content, you're not able to easily like address the person who's saying, but like, what about this situation? You know? But, you know, yeah, it's a very interesting thought. And the idea of like being a young, just being a kid who wants to share that thing, that feels very much so resonant. And I guess the internet also agrees. But do you have anything else that you wanted to say about that or any expansions on those thoughts?
Well, I think I made that maybe a year and a half ago. So it's funny sometimes when I go and I see these, I'm like, don't know if I totally agree with that. Like, what I probably would have taken, I would have taken a different angle if I made it today. I would say like, it's generally accepted that men want to provide. Like we like being providers. So I think sometimes the instinct to mansplain is that we are providing you with information. Like, and in psychology, there's this kind of like this it's an oversimplified thought, but the idea is that men are interested in things, women are interested in people. And so this is why you get men who are obsessed with trains and engines and stuff like this. And there's proportionally way less women who are interested in things than there are people. And the career breakdown kind of supports that pretty heavily. I think mansplaining is guys providing information about things to women. And sometimes what they don't like is they're like, I don't want to know about these things, you know? Or like why do you think you know more about this thing? Or like, yeah, I just feel like I don't know at what point down the road it became a thing to call it mansplaining. And I'm sure I've seen guys in my life mansplain to a woman, and you like, you're like, oh man, this guy, he should just shut up right now because he's doing it. But I've also seen points where it was like totally misinterpreted, and they were actually just like making an offering of information about these things they're obsessed with, and the women were like, I don't want to hear it, you know? So I was trying to be the mediator between those two.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It is a fine line because, of course, you can be being an ass, right? And I think it comes down to, are you being condescending? But that's something that, like, I always try to give people anything that I know. I'll try to share it with people all the time. But I don't think that many people appreciate that because I think a lot of people are constantly convincing themselves that they're learning something, whether it be on social media or in real life or wherever. But really, they just go to these places to confirm that they're already right. So that, like, if so, everything that is contradictory to that feels like an attack, where they're like, "How dare you question whatever, whatever." But I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, Keith, to extend, or Jack, to hear what you have to say.
You go for it, Keith. Or you busy there? I
I'm
can
queuing,
hop in.
I'm queuing up the next one.
Well, I when you said that, I just thought immediately of like these like in the park interviews where like it'll be like a conservative guy or a liberal guy interviewing whatever the opposite side, and like these people are so stuck in the ground. It should be like their head is the only thing that is popping up. Like, you know, when you go to the beach and you bury someone down to their neck, that's what it feels like. Is like there's no room for dialogue, you know. And so I feel like those are the sort of people who use mansplaining maybe a little bit too liberally. Um, but yeah, it exists at the same rate with all this stuff. And actually, this is something I would love to talk about with you guys. I detest that as a social media content creator, I'm always battling between, do I include the nuance and then have a longer clip or a longer video, or do I cut it and then have people fight and call me an idiot? And I'm like, I don't know which one is better. Sometimes I want to rage bait, sometimes I want the views, and sometimes I'm like, I can't live with myself and go to sleep if I cut this nuance because I know that was a really important nuance there. How do you guys balance that or think about that?
Ben has, I think, a good philosophy around this kind of stuff. I would tell you, come over to YouTube. but
True.
but Ben, what would you say to that?
So it's a nuanced problem. Like, ironically, like the nuance is the nuance, right? Because it depends what it is that you're optimizing towards, right? Like, you kind of have to do it all. And I think that you just understand that you're going to play a different character amongst different people in their lives, and you give them the options to be whatever they need to be on their maturation process, right? So, like, for some people, the foot in the door may have had to have been you pulling them in and getting them angry, right? If there was ever a chance of swaying them, they would probably do their own due diligence, and either, like, you could say, watch this other video, or somebody else may say, this is the shorter version of the longer one. But if it had been the longer one, they probably wouldn't have stayed for it. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like you have to hit the people where they're at. And unfortunately, the state of the world is that the majority of the people are incredibly low vibrations. So if you don't piss them off, they don't pay attention. So yeah, it is a very difficult thing where I think it's just about striking a balance and being okay with whatever you're okay with.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about this all the time with my buddies. I have a couple buddies who are content creators, and I think if you are a content creator, it's so valuable to have friends who are also content creators because you're like kind of out in the wilderness and like no one else can relate to it. You know, you talk about it with your normie friends, and it's too out there.
It's also, I don't even think we fully grasp it though either, right? Like,
yeah, yeah, probably right.
Like,
yeah.
we're getting seen by like millions of people.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like, that's why I do think that this much thought needs to go into all these things. People are always like, Ben, it ain't that deep. I'm like, I can't think of anything deeper, truthfully. Like this is the state of humanity and how we go, because perception has been guiding our existence and how we treat each other forever. And these are tools now that me as like a normal middle class dude can influence millions of people at a time potentially. That's truly like insane. Sometimes I have to catch myself because I've been doing this for a profession for like 10 years, basically gaming attention on these different platforms for businesses and whatnot. So like you go numb, you get desensitized to it. Like every so often I gotta be like, that's 100,000 people that just saw that. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you're just like, this is a game. I make the number go up, because it is actually that easy though too. That's the only thing I would say to all these people is that y'all are bots. I promise you, you're bots, and I can say that because I can do something and predict the amount of views.
You hear that, chat?
Go ahead. Did you hear that, chat? Not you.
You hear that, chat? You're the bot.
not you in this chat. I would say you guys are the exception to this.
No, you guys are the smart ones.
Yeah, for sure. But like, if it wasn't the case, how can I make something and like predict with pretty solid accuracy how many views this will get before I press publish? Like, that shouldn't be possible unless I'm like, I know exactly how you'll respond to this every single time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, sorry.
I gotta ask you then for some advice if that's, but because I still feel like the algorithm is a bit of a mystery. Like I have a feel, I kind of get a feel when I'm uploading a video. I'm like, this feels like this one's gonna go. It's got some legs, but I can never predict the mega bangers. And I'm like, if I could, I would be pumping out. I would be like a millionaire. I would, because I could just flood the TikTok algorithm and just siphon off everything from the creator program in like 6 months flat. But I can't. I don't know what's going to really, even after 4 years, I'm still, and maybe I just haven't thought it systematically enough through.
You could. If you were able to zoom out, and you have to cross niches. So like all these pockets that you've hit a few of them. To continue to do that, you have to like make the other people cross into the other places and make them fight each other. So like it's really messed up, but that's how it works, right? So like basically you have to cross into these silos because social media has just basically made everyone turn their opinions into their god. And so people fight with that much vigor across every stupid little opinion. And so you basically have to think about what is a hot button issue? What is like the internal sentiment of this massive group of people that stays there? And then how can I make this group of people talk to the other side of that problem? And then that's what makes those videos go crazy. So the art form is basically figuring out where are all of these silos being formed? And then what is the throughput? Like
The
what
intersecting point.
Yes. And
Yeah.
they all have them. So it's really about finding that continuously. It's a lot of work. Like it is a ton of work, but when you detect that skill of social listening, it is very much like gamified.
When I do think back, I feel like most of my mega viral videos did fall at an intersection point where it was like girls and guys could either fight or they could agree here, or
Yes, of course. It's not all about fighting. It's about having an opinion you can voice, more or less.
Yeah. I spoke to this guy. I can't remember his last name, but he was a guy named Jack, and he works with all the big YouTubers, David Dobrik and those types. And he's, I guess, like a creative director for them. And I said to him, I said, what would you suggest I should be doing to make my content better? And he said two things. He said, you need a more interesting background. Like you can't just be talking against a white wall. And then he said, be more divisive. Like he's like, say women are this. Don't say, I think sometimes that women are that. And I thought about it for a second. I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. But he's like, well, think about it. Like everyone who's really big is like, they're either loved by women or they're loved by men. They're not loved by both. The really big guys, like I don't even know if I can say his name or if it will like downvote you guys, so I won't say it. But and then after I talked with that guy, I talked with my other buddy who's a content creator. He's like, no, people follow you because you don't do that. You don't play that game. He's like, I hate when you try to play that game. And I'm like trying to constantly calibrate like where's the point where I can get views but also feel good about my stuff. So it's like who's that guy? I don't know. Even like Oliver Tree recently died. It's like we don't know how long we're gonna live. These videos are all gonna be on the internet. I don't want to have a bunch of rage bait be my legacy. Like
that's
I don't know.
Yeah, these are the things that you think about all the time. It's like as a social media strategy, I'm always weighing I'm weighing opportunity costs, right? So like there's so many variables that go into what the appropriate decision is, right? Like am I optimizing for a personal brand, which would be your case, right? So you have to think about how will people see this years from now. And so I think the advice that he gave is like there's truth to it, but not with the other variable of understanding that this is your personal brand. And so if you're gonna have this attached to you for a long period of time, you've got to be thinking about what does that mean. And then in turn, it's just a harder thing to pull off, but it's not doable. It's just another variable that most strategists would not have the acumen to throw that in there and still get results. Does that make sense? That's why most people give the advice like that guy gave to you, is because that will work. Like 110% that will work over a short time horizon, and he will say I was right. But you're not thinking about the totality of what the dream state actually looks like, and so you're optimizing towards the wrong variable. Does that make sense?
100%.
I think it's a very solid.
Keith, I got you. No. What were you gonna say, Keith?
No, it's all good here. I think it's a really important point. The way that I always try to balance that is, I try to pose questions. It's my approach, right? It's like, here are the two obvious ways that you would look at this. And some people think that this is obvious, right? By the way, like, so this is clearly the answer. And then on the other side, this is clearly the answer as well. So what do you think? And then they fight in the comments.
Yeah, that's and you've gotten really good at that, Keith, where it's I don't need to take an opinion because they already have theirs. Everyone comes to a video waiting to hear whatever their opinion is to either get mad or agree. And so you don't actually have to say anything. You just say, here is one, here is one, here is one. you go have at it. Like, you guys do your thing. And the impact is essentially the same. And you didn't have to push anyone to any which angle. They already did that.
Yeah. And Jack, like, the words are still coming out of my mouth, so they're still gonna attack me.
Yeah, you're gonna get dunked on all the time. People are really mean and angry. That's gonna happen regardless.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know how your guys' comment section is, but do you guys get a decent amount of pushback or hate? Because I've just found I just don't look at it, and it's probably horrible for my growth because I'm not engaging with my community, and I feel like a jerk for not doing it. But over time, I just thought it affects what I make too much because then I'm thinking about it. So I'm like, I want to just be separated from it, and I feel like I think a lot of creators do that as they get bigger because the hate gets more intense as you get bigger. And back to your point earlier, like how this is just unnatural, I think we get as a content creator an unnatural amount of feedback. Maybe if you weren't posting stuff online, like once per year, someone would say like, you look ugly or you're stupid or this or that. But like to get that 12 times a day per like,
Every day,
per
yeah.
month, like it's not, the
it's-
brain wasn't built for that.
Well, social media made media, which has always been a product, democratized. So now everyone is selling this product, but because the platforms were available to everyone and to free, like they're free, people forgot the concept that maybe not every video that's showing up on their screen is actually for them. So they fight it as if like this was custom made with you thinking of that person. And I'm like, you idiot! Like this isn't even for you. Like, did you get what am I making any sense here?
This is my dad. My dad gets so angry about the things that show up on his feed. I'm like, that's what it's there for, Dad.
Yes,
Dad,
yes.
like you're the bait. Stop.
Yes, 100%. Right? When people are like, they keep falling for it and going further and further and further down, becoming so obsessed with these few specific things that these platforms know are triggers for people. That's why, like, a big reason why everyone became so politicized is because that content kept people consuming. And when this happened, like when social media became like a big thing, was TikTok, and that was like the most politically divisive time that I can recall in my existence. So it turned so many people into these bots, and it's wild to see it play out. I do think that people will eventually tire themselves out, though. Like I see it kind of happening where I think people will retreat from these incredibly toxic spaces and find more things like this, like longer form content. I would also say that I really think that you could excel at something like this, because a lot of people do want to explore these ideas with some nuance. They just don't know how to get there, because the younger generation, like, how old are you? Do you mind saying?
I'm 30.
Okay, so we're the
I'm
same
out.
age. Cool, we're the same age. Dope.
Yeah.
I would say like there's a lot of people that would love your content that are like our age, maybe a little bit younger, and they missed the wave of podcasting because podcasting became cringe really fast. And so then people were split into buckets. Like I watch short form or I watch podcasts. They would love to be pulled in, but getting them there, they require like the appropriate nurturing them. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think like that might be the balance for you, is like, I understand that this is simply a top of funnel tool. And then for the people that are actually serious about anything, they come here. Does that make any sense?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have personal questions about this stuff because I'm always kind of like hedging and thinking defensively about like where is my longevity going to be as a content creator 10 years from now? So I'm like, where is it going to go? Where's the puck going? Do I have to move to the long form? I'm curious what's going to happen with short form. Like, is short form video going to be a thing 20 years from now? The trend to this point has been that everything changes like every 2 or 3 years, but I don't know what could replace short form videos, like what, holograms or something. I don't know. That doesn't seem likely to me. So I'm like, you got text, you got audio, you got video, and then you got long and short forms of all of that. I'm not sure really. I cannot imagine where the next social media format is going to come. And I don't think it's just going to be an amalgamation. Maybe it is. I don't know.
I mean, one of the things that comes to my mind immediately is that when it comes to like AI content, definitely short form is the most susceptible to being replaced by that, or supplemented at the very minimum. So that's the first thing that I would think of, and by far, long form is just the way. like in every way. Like everything that you're doing to monetize, for instance, like it's gonna 10x on a platform like YouTube. Maybe 10x is a little bit intense, but like I've never made a penny from Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Like really, like truly. Um, and it's just like the level of depth that you get to build with people. Obviously, you know, in marketing, it used to be you need to have 7 different points of contact with someone and you need to spend this amount of time with someone. Well, when it comes to shorts and reels and stuff like that, that's 100 shorts, right? 3 minutes at a time to get 30 minutes when I can post one video and that's 30 minutes that I've spent with someone. You know what I'm saying? And so like you're literally like 1/100th thing the amount of time that you need to spend to develop a relationship with someone. And it's not that it's just so much easier or anything like that, right? Because I think they both can be complicated. Like I did YouTube and it just happened for me. And then I started to say, okay, like what's working? How do I make this continue to work? But then like the short form thing was very deliberate, intentional. Like, okay, at the beginning of the year, Ben was like, you start doing shorts. And I was like, okay, let's try this. And so anyways, they're both 2 different challenges. And for the effort that I put into my YouTube, I mean, obviously, from a monetization perspective, it's way, way, way more worth it. And then on the Instagram, like the way that I've been able to use it so far, it's been a lot of the benefits. It's just like, bro, when I go out and talk to people in public, they're like, "Oh, you have a bunch of followers." You know what I mean? Like, but that's just how it's been for me. I know you've been able to obviously do very different things with it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't know if I got it right, but like I feel like what I do is so much easier. It's so easy because I only post one video every other 2 days and it's a minute long. If I was to do YouTube and I wanted to make a video about any of these topics, I need to speak for at least 30 minutes because I feel like no one wants to click on a video that's 6 minutes long. They want something
People
that they can
do.
watch
People
while
do.
they're really
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I always assume that in my head that like if it's not 30 minutes, then
No,
it's
no.
not worthy of a
Because
long form
even the
video.
short formification has hit YouTube, right? So like most like
Sorry.
no, you're good. You're good. The doom scroller
No.
of YouTube is like the person who will not watch a video if it's more than 10 minutes. There's a ton of people that fall into that category. Like, so all the variables that come into when people, because YouTube's a click and watch platform, right? So one of the biggest variables is when people see that timestamp, because that dictates the level of success you have to have in your influence. Right. So if it's something's like 3 hours, I'm only going to get someone in there if I crushed it, because it has to be worth that 3 hours of trade. Right. Whereas you could get so many people in there because so many people will say, I'll take a flyer on this. It's 6 minutes. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like every subsequent minute
Yeah.
is a higher degree of intent that you have to like create.
The video that took my YouTube channel from basically nothing to the first 10,000 subscribers was 4 minutes and 19 seconds long. And it was because it was that short, right? Like low investment. I don't know who this guy is, right? But he's talking about the thing that I need to know about. And he's made it sound super interesting with just the title alone. It's 4 minutes. Let's see what the guy has to say.
And there's
right?
also this massive trend right now, dude, where people are going against the grain because we always just seek novelty. So now that everyone can hyper produce thumbnails with AI, you'll notice almost every thumbnail looks the same. And so like not having one is kind of the counter signal that actually pulls in the attention and what a high produced thumbnail used to be. So like you are primed to crush it there, man. Like for you, turn the camera around, talk yourself for an extra few minutes and text me what you want, like what you should title it. I'll tell you. And then you'll boom.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is good because I feel like you guys have saved me a few years of grinding on on short form if this is the case, because I have always felt like I gotta go long form, but I like enter into the arena and then I get beat up after I spend like 30, I don't know, I spend 8 hours editing a YouTube video and it
you don't need
gets
to do
like
that.
300 videos, so I'm like,
you don't need to do that. Don't even edit it, period. I wouldn't even, like literally maybe minor cuts, and it's really like capturing the sentiment of the title. Keith, you had something? Go for it.
Well, yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, the approach that I'd be taking is for you. You have these incredibly well succinct thoughts that you've already put together, and you were talking about how you feel like, like, do I leave the nuance in or not? Like, 3 minutes to 6 minutes, add the nuance, and like that's pretty much all you would have to do.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
And this is important to say too. So like like Keith, it's because you're engaging 100%. And that's why they can both win. It's because they have that innate skill. So then it comes down to optimizing for what is the 80-20 of the distribution, right? And so like 80-20 in terms of where should I spend my time? Longer form content gives me way more. Okay, now what's the 80-20 to win on long form? It's the packaging, right? It's the concept itself. It's the title and thumbnail. That's why like I spotted that like 10 years ago. So I was like, I'm going to become the best at this. Because I was like, this is the only thing that actually has the highest arbitrage opportunity. And everything else is actually really fucking easy. To be honest, like this is the hardest part.
Right.
Super fair.
Keith, let's go to his next video because we're running out of time here. We've only got 10 minutes with him.
Wrong tab. Here we go.
There is no female Shakespeare because there is no female Jack the Ripper. That's a quote from Camille Paglia, who's a famous feminist writer. And she actually argued that women aren't as oppressed as they think they are. Sometimes they think that they're being kept out of positions of power and prestige, when in reality, they just don't want it bad enough. And she says, men really have extreme motivation because they don't feel an inherent sense of self-worth. Women do, though. Women feel like, even if they're insecure on a day-to-day basis, they feel like, I'm valuable. I can literally create life in my stomach. I'm like a little god. Men have nothing that is even close to that equivalent. And out of this kind of existential insecurity that men feel about their lives, they go and they do extreme things. They write a 10,000-page book, or they murder dozens of people, or they build a bridge, or they develop a vaccine. They try so hard to justify their lives. And she basically is a fan of men. She says that we wouldn't have civilization as we know it without men. Women wouldn't be motivated enough to create the infrastructure necessary for this society. She says we would still be in the Stone Age. There is no female Shakespeare.
Still stand by that?
That one got the comment section going. I remember that.
No
that was
doubt.
right at the intersection point. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And to be fair, you did cite
by
someone else there. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair. I think one of the nuances I didn't include in that video, but some people like kind of understood it anyway, was that she wasn't saying there's not good female artists. She's saying there's no Michael Jordan female artists. There's no extremes. And the only refutation that I heard from people was, oh, this is because men always steal women's work and put it under their name. I'm like, maybe there's been a handful. I don't think that's like a systemic thing where like all throughout written history, every time a woman did something of great artistic value, there was a guy who came along and wrote his name on it. I'm sure it's happened a handful of times, but like I just haven't. Why is there not a female Shakespeare? If the only reason is that they're stealing their names, I'm not sold. If you can give me a better reason, then I'll believe it. But I think men, and this is held back, I mean, this is held up with psychology, they have more extreme personalities. They're just more extreme. Women don't kill people as much because they don't, they don't have that extreme, I don't even know what you call it, like extreme desire to make something outside of themselves.
Where do you think that comes from in men?
I was kind of playing on the fact that I think like is partially because we cannot produce life. So like women can, you know, I come from like a very like healthy household, and my mom always was like she was like, I would not trade anything in the world for having been a mom and having kids. And she's like I can't even imagine that like guys never get to experience what it's like to like give birth and all this stuff. And I was like, I wonder if, you know, that's why we write 1,000-page book, is because it's like it's the closest thing we can get to giving birth. I think that's being a little bit Freudian, and like it's probably not quite that concrete, but men have to earn their place or earn their worth. And so if you don't have inherent worth, you're going to go do extreme things to try to like make a point, basically.
Yeah, I think there's a degree of merit there too. I think that one thing that I hold as a personal truth is that I think that people need to create, or like they always bend towards whatever will allow them to create things. And I think that's why a lot of people are very angry, is because they're kind of void of that. And that does manifest itself in different ways. Obviously, men and women create things differently. And that's, I've never really thought about that, is like women can create life, men can't. So it's an interesting thing.
By the way, and I said this in the follow-up video, Camille Paglia is actually an example of a woman who has that obsessive female drive to create art. She spent on her magnum opus, her main book, Sexual Personae, she spent 10 years writing it, and she always jokes that she didn't get laid for 10 years because she did nothing but write and think about this book. And if you hear her talk, it's believable. She is like a savant about it. So like there's girls out there, but she says, I'm a rarity, I'm an exception. She's like, I don't find that many other girls like me, you know? So either she's just being an edgelord and she's just trying to piss people off. Maybe there's an element of that. Maybe she knew what she was doing with rage baiting, but I think it holds so much weight because it's coming from a female intellectual who's like, I've looked at history. I'm not seeing the examples of women wanting to create insane things of art. They're okay with just making a little bit of art. Fuck, I'm sounding so yeah, whatever.
No, I think that people should like work through their thought process like this. Keith, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, there were some people in the chat that brought some things up that I think are worth touching on. ZMEF42, patriarchy is real though, and women have been oppressed physically, mentally, emotionally, and so on. I recently was doing a little bit of looking into how some of philosophy that has come out of the Greek era that might have been in some ways stolen from people who were not considered a part of society at the time because of their civil status, which is a word that I've taken this civil status because in Portuguese, someone's marital status is the word is technically civis. It's their civil status in a way, which is just such an interesting thought because that does tie into how these things have worked throughout history, which is where it's like if you were not married or a part of society, and if you were not married, then you were not necessarily a part of society. Essentially, if you were a woman and not married, and this goes on and on and on and on. And these are just things that I haven't looked into as much. So for me, it's more fresh on my mind and things that are like super relevant. And that's why I bring it up and address it in the comments. Because yeah, I mean, a lot of society, not all of society has always been a super patriarchal structure, right? And even in certain like civilizations today, you don't necessarily find that. And anyway, I just wanted to bring some of that up because it's just interesting stuff to me to think about, and I'll start to study it more and more. But gosh, what were we actually talking about? I lost it, but I'll play one of these other.
Yeah, around time here. Let's get one more in, and then
you got it. I can hang in for 10 minutes.
Cool.
Everyone is born with this delusion that they're bound to be a star, and 90% of people grow out of it gradually between elementary school and high school, just slowly realizing that they're probably not going to be a professional sports player / entrepreneurial billionaire / special forces operator all in one, and that they should probably recalculate their expectations out of life so as to avoid disappointment and getting laughed out of the room by their increasingly cynical peers. Not everyone lets the delusion go, though. Maybe 5 to 10% of people hang on to this delusion all the way through college. They refine it a bit. They accept that you can't be an astronaut and a professional basketball player, but besides that, they hang on to the core feeling that they truly are one of God's favorites, and because of this, they will achieve the sort of things that other normal people have to go to the movies to experience secondhand. If you can hold the delusion that you're special up until you're like 23 or 24, you'll probably never lose your grip on it. Some portion of these people who hold on to the delusion just go insane. They end up getting a little too high on their own fumes. But then others actually make it true. The delusion is simply what enables you to try long enough for the delusion to start looking less delusional. Everyone is born.
Ben, did you make it past 23?
What do you mean to make it past 23?
Do you still have this delusional belief
Do you
in
hang on to your
yourself?
delusion?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Do you guys not?
I mean, I think we all probably did if we're sitting here on YouTube right now.
Yeah, I think people lose that really, really young. Like I notice that a lot of people do, because I think that we're around too many easy things, and so the stakes of trying just is perceptively higher than ever, when really it's probably lower than ever. But like the perception creates the reality here. I have a lot of buddies who like they totally could have done things, but they were constantly coddled, or like they were never actually forced to really try, be bad at something, get good at something, which I think you need to have to maintain that. Is because I don't really think that it's delusion if you're willing to do the things that just make it statistically likely to work out. Like, I don't know if there's that many people that understand that that's a concept. Like I was sending a voice note to someone on the team today where I was like, I think the secret to everything is realizing it's going to be harder than you think, but everything you can figure out. Like I genuinely believe that as a principle, where you can optimize towards an outcome in almost any environment. Most people just aren't willing to look dumb enough times for that to take place. So I think it really depends on who you are. And I've always been fine with looking dumb. So like for me, I'm like, this isn't delusional, because I'll keep swinging until I hit it. And I only need one home run to win. Does that make sense?
Totally. I love it. Jack, do you want to respond to any of this, or I can play this next one real quick as well?
Well, I'll just say one other thing about delusion. I think that's a healthy attitude that you have, Ben, which is like that's the grinder mentality. Is like, you could throw me in any sport, any team, anywhere, and I'm gonna just find a way to exist and excel. I also think there is a different archetype that shows up, where it's like, there's this one kid I used to go to school with. I went to boarding school with this kid, and we played hockey together, and we were roommates. He plays pro hockey now. He's not in the NHL yet, but I still think he might make it one of these days. And he was amazing at everything. Like every single sport, top percentile. And he just had this smoothness with him, like in his life. And I remember him saying one time to me, he's like, I asked him, like, why are you like so natural or whatever? It was probably athleticism, whatever. But he goes, because God has his favorites. And so he had internalized it and was like, I'm one of the favorites. It's not, he didn't think it was weird that he was so much better than everyone else. He had internalized it, digested it, and thought, okay, this is part of me. I got to be what I am, which is I'm one of the favorites. I notice a strand of that with certain people who make it, where they're like, if they hadn't made it, you would just call them like a megalomaniac or like delusional or whatever. But like, they held on to that, you know.
Super fascinating.
Anyhow,
That's super interesting.
yeah.
I have one friend that came to mind when I was in high school. A very similar experience. He was like super academically gifted, super good at everything, and everything just came really easy to him as well. And he said to me, he's like, Ben, what I respect about you is that I think at our reunion, you will either be the most successful person in the room or you'll be a bum. Like neither would surprise me, but I was like, you go for it. And I was just like, that's so interesting. He's like, I'll always do what I know I'll be good at. He's like, you'll do anything and become good at it. And like, that's super interesting. He's a really smart dude.
Love that. Love that. I've definitely seen myself in those two ways. It's like either I'm a bum and I'm an idiot and I'm like, or I'm like, I'm doing this, But that's super cool that someone said that. Jack, one more.
Yeah, you got it.
One of the fundamental reasons that people don't stay in touch as they get older is because they only want to call or they only want to pick up the phone when they're either in a good mood or their life is going well. And it's very hard for you to be in that state and also have your friend be in that state. Usually one of the people is tired and not doing that well. So eventually, to break out of that loop, you have to be like, even though I don't feel great, even though I don't love where I'm at in life right now, I'm going to pick up or I'm going to give him a call, because there's never really a perfect time. One of the fun
That's an interesting point. What else are your
So
thoughts?
real.
So
So
are we
real.
all 30 here? Keith, how old are you? Or are you not doxed on your age?
I'm not that. No, I'm 27.
Okay. So it's probably all occurred in our lives at some extent where people are just kind of falling off.
Oh yeah. I feel like the post-college thing was big.
Yeah.
What were you gonna ask there, Jack?
Well, like, how many friends do you guys find you actually stay in touch with now at this point? Like, you talk to these guys at least every month.
I found that if there's not some sort of anchor, like that number dwindles pretty quickly, right? Like I have a lot of friends that I talk to with that regularity, but it's only really around that one subject. So is that really depth of connection, even though there's frequency of touch points? So I don't know, like a lot of people fall into that category. Yeah, I don't know. It seems to get smaller and smaller as time goes on because you become, I think, more solidified in what is like important to you. But Keith, I'd love to hear your experience.
Yeah, I mean, I have like I think it's 4 people really that I actually like know about what's happening in their lives, kind of a thing. That are my guys. That is, yeah, I'd keep it at that. But yeah.
And then when you reach out to them, so like what I was getting in the video is like, I don't know if this is just me, but like I won't. Sometimes I'm like, oh, this is a good time to call my buddy, but I'm like, I'm feeling a little bit low energy, like, and I don't want to be the guy who calls and is low energy on the phone. I want him to see me when I'm like, hey man, how you doing? Oh yeah, I just got this new thing, like my life's going well. And then 2 people both get like that. But there are 2 people get like that and then they never call because you're both waiting for the perfect time. But I think there's probably people who just reach out regardless, even when they're not feeling great or their life's not going good. And those are probably good friends, you know? I got a buddy, like, he'll pick up even if he's not in the mood, he has no energy. He'll pick up at like 10:30 p.m. I'm like, what a saint.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely over the past 2-ish years have been much more intentional about my. Oh, it's saying that
Browser
it's
not allowing to record.
you probably
I
just
think
ran
my
out of
disk is
space.
full.
Yeah.
Should I click refresh?
Well, it's still gonna have a problem.
Okay, so I'll leave now. It was a pleasure talking to you guys. I'll have
Likewise,
to chat
man.
with you guys some more.
Oh, for
Super
sure, man.
interesting. Thanks for having me on, and best of luck to you.
Appreciate
Sounds
you,
good. I was
man.
muted. My bad. I was saying all of his links are down below. Go show him some love. Go over to his Instagram, show him some support, and yeah, we'll definitely love to have you back on again soon, man.
Okay, thank you guys.
Yep.
Have a
And
good one.
let's make sure you get uploaded. So if we need to follow up after, we'll shoot you some DMs because it might have
Okay,
an issue with
awesome.
uploading.
Cool, man. Have a great day,
So
Jack.
I
Thank
should
you.
just click leave?
If you click leave, you're
Or
good
do
to
I
go.
have
Yeah,
to, like...
you're good. You're
Okay.
good.
All right, I'm gonna leave.
Cheers, man. Bye bye.
It's hitting the eject button. It's like, can I do it? Like, boom.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's good stuff to chat about. Yeah, I'm very interested to see the comment section after this one. I think it'll be full of some polarization.
I think everyone needs to chill out though, too, right? Like, I've never. If you get angry while stating your opinion, like, where's that coming from? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you know something is a fact, like, why would it make you angry?
Super good point. Like, there's going to be opportunities to educate. All right. So speaking to you now, educate us.
Yeah, and like, I think everyone's expectations of each other are a little ridiculous, right? Where you expect everyone to know everyone, like everything about everyone, right? And people always assume malice where you should assume ignorance.
Mhm.
Like online, we do that all the time. Where I try to just be like I will say that this person's an idiot, but like I'll be like, okay, I got to educate this person. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I don't think an idiot is a permanent thing. I think that they're only currently being an idiot because whatever's blocking them right now. And I think in a one-on-one situation, I'd probably see with their perspective, they'd probably see mine, no problem.
And when you treat people that way, even online, like they respond with that way unless they are actually, you know, someone who you can't help.
Yeah, precisely. And they'll tell you right away,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So beyond that last piece we were talking about, like, um, yeah, like so I noticed after university it was really tough because for me, for instance, I was going through a pretty bad time, like just period, for like 2 years after that.
Why
And
was that?
so
Because of
just
professional stuff or
yeah, like professional stuff just wasn't going well. And I think that's a huge thing that happens. At least maybe it's mostly our generation, right? I don't know. Like people just struggle to get jobs and whatnot after
True.
university. And so no one would talk to each other because they're like, I don't want to have to tell this dude that I'm still unemployed after 6 months out of university. Like that feels terrible. Even I have people now who are still kind of in that state where it's like they don't want to talk to anybody because they're trying. And you know, some people who live in like different countries, for instance, where it's really, really hard to actually get like a college level job. You know, like someone like we talk about it all the time. Like the innovation's happening in the U.S. So if you're not in the U.S., bro, like
Basically cooked.
it's hard. Yeah.
That's why I knew I was like, okay, I got to go entrepreneurship route. It was because I just saw like how much better I'd have to be to even get a chance to play in America, basically, right? If I don't know someone. So I was like, hey, whatever, I'm just gonna build my own thing on the internet. But that's yeah, it's
Yeah.
fascinating because that's a thing where I was also lucky because I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And I also my thing wasn't really like for what a lot of people see their thing as work, for me, that thing was football. Like this thing that I was pursuing that was attached to like my ego and my identity. So when I lost that early because of injuries, I was able to try to kind of like go through that phase that you probably went through after graduating while I was still in school. The death and rebirth kind of thing, like the killing of your ego. Because while you go through school, when you're obsessed over your potential, it's kind of hard to get any dose of reality or destroy the ego that is present until it comes in and you pay the price for having it. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah. So, yeah, man. I mean, for anybody who's been in that situation, I'm just like, I mean, I'm very biased and very jaded, but I'm just like, try some stuff. You know, start just putting stuff out into the world, whether it's content or actual product building, something,
Whatever.
whatever. Yeah.
Ditch labels, ditch ego, right? So ditch labels in terms of saying that you are
True.
or aren't anything, right? That's
Yeah.
bullshit. All these words are keeping people stuck. And when I say it's this simple, they're always like, it's not that simple. I'm like, you only don't know that because you haven't actually tried. I'm like, just go fucking do it. Go be bad until you're good. It's not that hard anymore. Everything is so much easier. The resistance is you. But people are like, people don't want to admit that, right? So they don't even fucking try. And so I think that's one thing. And then two, drop your ego in terms of what you think you deserve. Because so many people have been getting compensated not appropriate to their value for a very long time. So like the market for a really long time was so separated from like actual substance and contributions to direct compensation in terms of dollars and cents, because it's so we've reached a point where there's so much bureaucracy, right? And so within that, there's like middle managers keeping up the existence of other middle managers. They don't fucking do anything. Right? So like you're gonna have to swallow some pride and either go build your own thing and get underpaid for a bit, or go get underpaid working for someone who saw this shit before you did. That's hard for a lot of people. So many people who can't get a job. Have you actually tried to go build something yourself, or have you actually swallowed your pride and been offered to work for less than you think you're worth right now? And what's deciding what you think you're worth? What the market pays? If those jobs are going away, the market is now saying it's not worth that.
Totally.
So I think a lot of people just need to suck it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it is really hard. I get it. But like these things change all the time. You either adapt or you cry about it. Like I'll always choose to adapt because I know that the only constant is change. Rant over.
No, I mean, it's a super good point too, because I'm just thinking about like, I'm just trying to empathize and like put myself in those shoes. And it's like the thing that is there is that we both were seeing these things coming, right? So it's like the time that was put into like building the skills that would be important now were being done because like there's two sides to it I think about. Like there's the skills themselves of like marketing or branding or whatever it may be, writing. But then there's the skill of like doing it, like taking ownership of it to a degree, and like you were talking about earlier, like doing the thing until it works, you know. that kind of is the other side of it that I guess like people haven't been training for. College doesn't teach you that at all in any way.
Well, think about what the stakes were, man. Don't lose your point. But like back before, you used to have to decide what you wanted to do specifically when you were 18, right? So people use that parameter of like risk analysis on rebranding themselves today.
Totally.
It's like you can do it 400 times in
Yeah.
a year. Do you know what I mean? Like the stakes aren't that high. Sorry, continue.
No, it's a really good point. Like you picked your major. If you changed your major, that would add time to how much, you had to
Money.
study and money as well. Yeah, you're right.
And then the social pressure of you're the guy who keeps switching majors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck off.
That's
It's all
so real.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Tux and Tool said, were you guys really actively thinking about your future like that in high school? I feel like I was just existing until graduated college. I was totally thinking about that stuff. Like I had a whole life plan of what I was going to do. So yeah, I was thinking about, but I also was starting businesses when I was like 10, 11, 12. I was not the norm. Like I was a weirdo.
Totally. Yeah, no, I was just really impacted by like watching my parents, and I was like, oof, I don't want to do that.
Do what in terms of work?
Yeah, like corporate work and like truly being like emotionally affected by things that were happening in the workplace. And I'm like, first off, I know I don't want to do that, and I also don't want them to have to do that for the rest of my life. Like that doesn't really look right. So I just was very 15 years old. I mean, I started making music at 15 because I was just inspired by that alone. It was just making beats, and I was like, oh, I want to be like Lex Luger or Jalil Beats was a big guy at the time, and then like Zaytoven and all these people. I was like, that's super cool. I want to be like that. But then I was like, all right, this doesn't really make money though. And this other problem still exists of like, I don't want to do that thing. So 16, 17, it was like, all right, I need to learn how to market my music at the very minimum. And then that turned into, oh wait, I can market anything online. And so, yeah, I was the dude in high school getting PayPal notifications at a party, like
Let's go.
Shopify notifications at a party. And I was like lit about that because I'm having a good time.
That's why I love you, Keith. That's freaking awesome. And yeah, you obviously had that innately, but you also saw it. Yeah, I didn't really have that many people I could relate to while I was going through my similar experience throughout college until I met Tom Blake at the very end of college. And he obviously we bonded over that, been friends ever since, started a few businesses together and all that stuff. But for me, like why I was thinking about this stuff super early was because I saw that the money piece dictated almost everyone's decision-making criteria. Right. So I was like very young. I'm like, everyone is always making a money decision. So why would I not be thinking about the money stuff potentially being sorted way like from the beginning? And I also saw that how much leverage you actually need for that to go away. You looking at something? Something good?
No, just my mic's not muting itself. So
cool. I was gonna say, like, because I saw like, my dad was pretty comfortable, definitely not rich, but like every decision was obviously a money decision, even when they said it wasn't. Right. So I was like, okay, so you either escape with enough leverage, or like everyone else below is basically a slave in different packaging. You know what I'm saying? Like you might be able to choose this slightly different. Do you get? I'm probably making no sense, but do you get what I mean? Like you're still a slave to the dollar.
100%. No, 100%. I mean, this is kind of like what I mean. This stage starts to become where we're kind of at in some ways, but also other people who are also like just at a place where they're like having some level of attention or success or whatever. Like, is the plan for you to then go and rise above that, right? To create systems? Or like I, for instance, meet tons of people who are just like, yeah, dude, I'm a digital nomad. Like, this is what I do. Like, I'm making money off my content and I'm free. And it's like, okay. I feel like I'm a YouTube employee right now. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest. So yeah. I'm like, how do my goal has always been, all right, like, how do I move out of that spot? So anyways, but yeah.
Yeah, the arbitrage opportunity was not thinking, because most people just jumped into a new 9-to-5 that's actually worse because it's accessible 24/7, right? If you're not thinking about the leverage that actually comes from running the business, that this was always like the media in the capitalistic environment was always there to eventually lead to an outcome of a purchase or like a consumption, right? And that's also why capitalism probably needs to be adjusted. But when you realize that the attention was really just there for other people's business gains, and the real money was going to whoever was making the final purchase typically. And so if you can't create an environment where that is for you, you're going to be on this hamster wheel forever. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We also forgot to ask him, Self-Reliance couldn't make it here live, and they had asked some questions, and we forgot. That's on me. I forgot to ask him. But we can answer them right now if you want. Or maybe community will save it for.
Yeah, we can pull that up in community, and then I want to address a couple things in the comments section.
Sorry, Self-Reliance. I thought we'd have till 1:30, and we only had like an hour. So my bad. That's on me. Go ahead.
What was the most recent thing? Oh yeah. Well, first off, welcome SV Thor Sailing 4868. You mentioned that mofos are chatting after the stream lit. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday. This is the format of the show, actually. So welcome. You said it's your first time. And then DCPER 608 said, how do you cope with the feeling of uncertainty if you are pursuing an opportunity that doesn't show any tangible reward in the short to medium term?
You take that first.
Yeah. I mean, I guess one of the things is when you're in that situation, because I mean, I think maybe I know what you're referring to, but maybe not. Try to figure out exactly what the goal is, right? Because a lot of the times, the goal might not be tangible, right? And if that's the case, for instance, if this person were an intern at a company, like what's the outcome that you would want to get out of that? Is it that you want to work with that company full time? Is it that you would want to go off and do something else and have something that you can present and show to the next company that you're applying for, or whatever it may be? That would probably be the first thing, is like trying to define what would be, there could be several outcomes, but like what does that actually look like? Because then you can also get closer to like, then you can set what are the things that equal tangible reward. Because now I know what tangible reward is. Have I started to build the examples of the things that I'm going to bring to the next company? Like, am I putting that in a portfolio? Am I putting that in my resume? Right? Am I creating those outcomes? And then the other thing is, am I learning the things that I want to be learning about? Am I doing these things on my own and it's providing results for me in some tangible way, right? On my Instagram or whatever it may be. These are the kinds of things that just like come to my head when answering that question with a little bit of extra perspective, potentially.
The other thing that I would add to that is that I do think that a big trap that a lot of people that feel stuck, they're stuck because all they do is think about themselves 24/7. Right? So like, even when you were explaining through that process of like, you said like me a few times.
Yeah.
Right? You can't get what you want unless you give others what they want. So like, that's why I spend more time thinking about other people's problems than my own all the time. And then when you train yourself to do that, it's actually so easy to get the things that you want, because you're just like, what can I give to this person where it would be unrealistic for them not to give me what I want?
And the thing that I feel like exemplifies the way that you've done that so well has been through all of your affiliate stuff, right? So affiliate marketing, you have a company who will pay you a percentage of any revenue that you bring to the company. So Ben has done extremely well with that. And like the way that that works is you're essentially like a sub business owner, right, for these companies. So for you to actually bring business into that company, you have to pretty much solve a real problem that they're having, usually in their messaging to some degree.
Totally.
And so you've done that, right? You've done that over and over again until the point you realize, like, wait a minute, why don't I just do this for my own business?
Yes. And if you're doing that enough times, if you're solving other people's problems, you'll then figure out what problems are the highest leverage to solve for yourself. Right? And it is not easy. Like, I think the other thing that I say for a lot of younger people, especially, and even just people in general, because the feedback loop of what we think a transformation looks like happens in a 60-second video, our expectations are 60 seconds long. That's why I'll repeat on what I said earlier. It's like, it's believing that you can figure anything out, but it's probably going to take you more reps than it looks like it should on social media.
Yeah, and like that's something that I think I could have done better with in my life, was like recognizing that it's not time spent, it's reps.
And optimize reps,
Right.
right? Like it is detect the whole game when access to information became truly democratized to the extent that we have it, detecting signal from noise became the only skill that matters. Because I can go learn everything, right? So then the only thing that's worth learning is what is worth learning. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah, I get what you're saying. And
That's why I always get so fixated
yeah.
on like how do people not get past the money thing. To bring
In
it
what
back to
way?
like the core anchor of the show is that people they try to dive like 20 feet deep into like a puddle, right? It's like this is not the source of the problem. Do
Mm,
you get what I'm saying? Like if you keep going back for like what is the problem, people get so fixated on the characters that are the faces of the problem that they like they direct all of their energy towards.
yes.
They
Yeah.
stop peeling back the layers of the onion. Right? That's why like the whole thing that I have in my bio is that like to fix a broken system, we must first forgive the flaws in others that system created. Because until that happens, you get too fixated on the person rather than the system. Right? Because everyone's got their emotional charge, right? Trump is a case in point. We even bring that guy's name up and everyone freaks the frick out, which I understand. There's so much emotional charge there, but is that constructive to fixing things? When someone's name can do that to you, is that helpful for your own mental well-being? And is that helpful for progress? I would say no.
100%. I heard someone say something super similar, by the way, and I'm trying to remember what the context was. But I was like, "Oh snap! Like that's like Ben's quote."
What's
it
that?
came up in conversation. What you just said, like the to forgive the people who built the system the way it is, kind of a thing.
Bro, everyone's point makes sense. Like even your biggest enemy, if you really got to know them, you'd be like, you know, I see how you got there.
Yeah.
Like, because we've all been getting fucked with for so long. So much money, energy, and influence has been put to convince that the people closest to you are your enemy.
Mm,
Like, also, how do we not wake up and realize that, man? Like, come on, pay attention. Like the whole like racism is the dumbest shit ever. Like people who care about what other people like do with their own time or who they're with, like that shit's all so dumb. And then the politics stuff, how like, oh, I won't talk to you if you are a red supporter or a blue supporter. It's like there's not even that kind of hatred for like sports fandom. I bring that up all the time, but it's just become the new like sports team. That's how I look at when people say they're a
mm.
Republican or a Democrat. I'm like, oh, so you're into the Yankees. like, I don't care. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Um, Here in Brazil, it's been super interesting to kind of like explore some of that as well, because there's very interesting dynamics in
Please share.
how the stuff plays out here. So one of the things that I've heard from people, I haven't seen this with my own eyes just yet, but like there's a far right, and like the previous president was that, I think it's Bolsonaro was his name, and then you have like, I guess like everyone else, kind of like how in the US it's like far right if you're a Trumper, and then like everyone else.
Mhm.
And so that stuff is like fascinating, because so here in Brazil, what someone told me, all right, you guys can fact check me on this, is like the far right people who support the old president, like when they go out and like do demonstrations, they will have flags that are from the United States and flags of Israel, is like part of like their way that they virtue signal, I guess.
Interesting.
It's fascinating to hear something like that. And once again, haven't seen with my own eyes, but I've had multiple people corroborate this because I think it's a fascinating thing. And so, like, the way that it seems to me is that, so I'm in a place that's also much more, apparently it's more conservative here, but all the places that I've been have been super, like, the obvious thing is that you hate Trump. Once again, in Brazil, right? Is that you hate Trump, and that you don't like the American way of living, and like all of that like capitalism stuff is bad, period. And so once again, I'm probably in these space. Somebody brought this up to me. They're like, I was like, I haven't met one person who's like right wing here at all. And they're like, okay, you've been going to like concerts and like artsy stuff. And like, it was like, you're right about that. That's pretty true. But I don't know. Yeah, it's super fascinating to like see what the standard and the baseline is. Cause I think if you go to other places, like if I was in Spain, I think it's a little bit flip-flopped, where the base and the standard is more like you're this more conservative figure. And obviously these things mean different things in different places. Right. But like, but that idea that I just said of like the American flag and the Israel flag, in most countries that I've witnessed, the signal of being on the right is usually like being conservative, usually is your own flag. Right. I had a friend in Spain who talked about that, where it was like nowadays, like just the Spanish flag is like a sign of being hard right. And it's kind of like that in the US as well. Like,
I'd say it's become that.
Yeah, like if you have an American flag, it's like you're conservative, like period. Being left is anti-America.
I don't think that's hit as bad in Canada, I wouldn't say.
That's fascinating.
If anything, it might even be the opposite. Like, it's a different problem here because of the different media environment and how long we've been with one power and party. That does skew things over time. So that's super fascinating to hear.
And yeah, and that last piece that I said there of like being left is anti, like I'm saying that's what it has started to kind of turn into and form and feel like, so.
Did you see Tucker wants to start a new political party?
No, I didn't
Tucker
see
Carlson. Yeah, I've heard rumblings of that.
Tucker Carlson for president.
I texted you a while ago. I'm like, this guy might run, bro.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
Which he could win, which is so crazy to think about, bro. Think of all the people he'd have the support of.
I don't think you can win on the right. He would have a news party though.
Yeah, I don't even know how it would logistically work. But in terms
you couldn't win with a new party, period.
No, you don't think so?
No, there's no chance.
You think the world's messed up enough?
No. Unfortunately, bro. I mean, just look at like what happened last time. Like it was, I guess what's happening right now is like the immediate answer was look at what you should have done instead. This is what you should have done instead is the answer to what the problem is right now. You chose the wrong president. You had the perfect option on the other side, and you chose this guy.
Who says that?
I mean, for instance, the conversation that we had when I was in Toronto with your friend. Oh, like that was the answer.
Wait. He's saying Kamala Harris would have been perfect.
Look, we didn't necessarily have that conversation, but let me say it like this. It was like, obviously, that was the right answer. And so if that's where we're at now, then the only thing that's going to happen is we're just going to flip sides. We're just going to go to the other side again.
I get what you're saying.
No, so
I get what you're saying.
And the stuff continues. And in the United States, I mean, I remember when I was my first time where I was eligible to vote, there was a libertarian who was kind of sick. I think his name was like Gary something. And I was cool with it. I was like, this is interesting. Like, I'm young. I don't know anything about politics, but I like that. Like, I like the idea that we're not doing the same stupid stuff again. But the dude got like 5% of the vote. I was like, oh, that's how this works.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it's too early, but I do think that he's very primed from a media perspective because he'd have Candace Owens support, I'm sure. He'd probably have Joe Rogan's support. He definitely would have Sean Ryan's support, right? So like, yeah, it's probably still too early. But in terms of he could hit pockets and get but like freaking Trump's president, bro. Like this is like crazy things happen now.
Yeah, that is in like in Germany, for instance, they have like a bunch of parties. I'm pretty sure there's like a bunch of different parties.
Canada has multiple parties too, but only two are ever real threats. Like we had the NDP, which is the New Democratic Party or something like that. And there was a brief period of time where they became relevant for a short period. And then they basically attached themselves to the Liberal Party. And then because they were kind of fodder, like as like people fell out of love with the Liberals, they kind of fell out to the wayside as well. But then somehow the Liberals survived and dropped them. But so I think they're still connected in many ways. But I think we have like 5 parties here that get some votes.
Wow.
Like we got the Green Party. Where when I went to college, the Green Party would win like every time. Super random because it was an agricultural city.
Okay.
We had like the agricultural college for the province and stuff like that, and so the Green Party won there all the time.
Wow.
Super fascinating. So like we were like one of their few seats that they'd win. Period.
It's so sad that concept is like so foreign to me. Like never has there ever been me looking at a map in the US and seeing anything other than red and blue. You know, like this is the red state, this is the blue state. And it's just like, dude, so we've completely taken away the ability to think about the actual policies. You know, could you look at the policy by state and it not be left versus right, it be something else, you know?
People would rather the opinion be theirs and be wrong than say the other person is right and get the better outcome.
Totally.
That's the unfortunate reality. It's like there's no such thing. Like meritocracy is not really a thing in terms of adjusting these systems. So what do you guys want?
And also, where are you from? Because you said like you guys would never do this. Where are you from? But yeah, go ahead, respond to that.
Yeah, and that's a very fair question. I don't think that I know what I want per se. I just know the kinds of conversations that need to happen so that we actually listen to the people who are smart enough to know or be closer to the target.
Yeah, and at this point, like I want people, to just have actual conversations, and that our presidential debates aren't people like
dunking on each other. They're not like clip farming.
What? Yeah, they're literally clip farming. Like, come on, dude. I just feel like that's crazy. That's how society's gotten, and that's the answer. Like, that's how you win. Something's messed up.
Yeah, I think you could solve a lot of that with legislation in terms of like algorithms, in terms of like what has to be worked into them from a social media perspective to, you know what I mean? But again, I think that the only way you actually solve that is you solve money, where then in turn everything's on the table again.
That's a hilarious quote from
what's up?
George Carlin. How are you now? Said two parties to vote for, but 23 flavors of bagel.
George Carlin. George Carlin's he's super interesting. A lot of great old clips there.
Yep. So,
yeah, what I want is less government, more freedom, and liberty. Yeah, that all sounds good. Getting there is obviously the problematic part. I was having a great conversation this weekend with my buddy who works for the government here, and I respect this about him a lot. Like, he understands what he's a part of in terms of like our country is the way that it is because of how we've aligned the incentive structures by how many people work there, are reliant on that being their paycheck, and anybody who talks about potentially taking those things down, so many people know they have fake jobs, where if that starts, where does it stop? Do you know what I'm saying? So like they're all kind of in on it. It's like the S&P 500 that you guys have, where like you got everyone in this Ponzi scheme, in terms of like now you have financial interest in this working out, even though it's fucked, you won't tear it down. It's the same thing with our government. It's like these people will do the same things over and over again. Yeah, we don't know what we want, but we sure know what we don't want. Yeah, I don't believe in money. Yeah, that's also something we got. I think we're very close to that happening, where enough big people will start talking about money.
Yeah.
You look at Candace Owens, bro. Like the things she's educated these people that just came for tea, she's made them read pretty insane books.
Word.
That are quite comprehensive in terms of how the systems work. So she's definitely cool. She's made them read some crazy ones too. Don't get me wrong, but like, I don't think they're that far away from reading The Creature of Jekyll Island, like things of that nature. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that, and then The Price of Tomorrow comes next.
Yeah, I do think he'll end up being a main character. I do, but yeah, it's gonna be so fascinating for how these things take place. But it's why that's why I'm super grateful to have this show. Is because we get to talk about it all.
Yeah, it actually just made me think about one other thing that someone sent me yesterday that I thought was actually a pretty interesting thing. So it's about like how Americans are very independent these days. Let me pull this up.
The Banking Cartel. Reading it right now. Yeah, definitely a good book, Lucas. I think that if enough people read that book, I think we're so much more powerful than we realize. But the trap is I have to continuously convince you that you're not.
Say that again, convince you that you're not what?
That you're not powerful, that none of us have any agency. How much has been pushed to convince you that like, you can only get what you want if other people give it to you? And I do think that the story has risen to a technical feasibility point where we have more agency than we've ever had before, but not many people are using it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got something for me?
No, the thing I was going to pull up is not as relevant as I want it to be, so I won't go into it. But
okay, well, if you decide to, let me know.
Yeah, the other thing that I wanted to bring up is like I've had someone challenge me on the idea of what Graham once said, wanting less government, more freedom and liberty. And we've started to have some of these conversations like capitalism versus the other isms, and like and then libertarianism, right, being something that's like less government. Basically, what this guy does go in about that I do think is interesting is like he talks about how we're hyper individualistic, but like the way that we've potentially gotten to where we are today wasn't being that way. Like the way that society got as good as it is because people were looking out for each other and like they were building things together and whatnot.
But then enough people assumed that's what other people would do, where we became ripe to take advantage of.
Facts.
Right. And so we didn't have the technology in place to safeguard from that reality to happen. Like Charles always says, he uses the example of we need to implement the systems and technology. So the question changes from they won't be evil to they can't be evil.
Yeah.
Right. And we do have the opportunity to do a lot of those things. So blockchain would eliminate a lot of BS. It objectively would. Is it going to solve every problem? Of course not. But I definitely recommend people go listen to our episode with Charles Hoskinson, because I think he does one of the best jobs of breaking down how you implement these systems to get to the signal of the problem. He's one of the better ones for sure.
Yes, sir. Check it out. We could break off into the second half here. How
let's
you feel?
Get in. Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Well, we got some news.
So okay. Reload the doc.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, Asipo.
Yep, perfect. I see the change. All right. Jay Heron, that's interesting. A big influencer on YouTube. Dana Love has a PhD. He just switched from BTC to XRP. Interesting. But let's get
Jay Heron's still chilling XRP, man.
Hey, man.
I love
He's not going anywhere.
No, that's awesome.
Claude for Teachers now launches. We have apparently Claude is giving teachers free access to premium Claude capabilities for verified K-12 educators in the US with a library of teaching skills and a direct connection to evidence-based curricula mapped to academic standards in all 50 states. So this focuses on lesson planning, materials generation, and strong FERPA privacy for student data. And teachers value time-saving AI aids aligned to education standards across all 50 states.
I do wonder what the response to these kinds of things will be. Like, it's such a delicate balance for how you handle this. I also do think that one of the poetic ironic moments of how this will go is that I do think that the frontier models that could theoretically build everything, they won't be able to because people won't use it if it's theirs. Like, people almost don't need to know that it's AI, because people don't understand AI as a technology. They think AI is Anthropic and OpenAI.
Right.
And so if you can basically say that you're not those models, I think that will be a huge plus in terms of people using you. That's why a lot of people who have captured a lot of the value of this is people who just create wrappers of these large language models.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the first thing that I was thinking is it would have been cool to have that as a talking point last week, last week with Jessica.
Totally.
So Rob Hallams here said, I'm thrilled to announce I'm looking for a new job as a teacher in the United States. That's pretty funny. He wants that free Claude. But yeah, I was thinking to myself also, like, who or what are people saying to this? It doesn't look like it's gotten too much traction just yet. But yeah, fascinating to see.
Yeah, it's also another thing of that's very ironic is that if true, how much money the Canadian pension plan or whatever made from investing into X.
Oh yeah.
Or
SpaceX.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's freaking hilarious. Like, yeah, they do that all the time.
This guy, Tony Simons, said, careful teachers, they'll just take it away from you in a week and then give you back a nerfed version after the US government slobbers all over it. Pointing to the way that some of these AI rollouts have been done so far. Next piece, New York has a data center freeze. So apparently New York has become the first US state to pause new large data center builds for up to 1 year.
Is this from Mamdani?
It's the governor, it looks like.
Okay, I was going to say, this is going to make him so even more loved.
Yeah. Kathy Hochul, I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, signed the order today over power grid strain and water use. An AI boom has spiked electricity demand from hyperscale server farms, and this move aims to study the impacts before more projects raise costs for residents in the state. Fascinating.
It is truly wild how they've done really nothing to ease the mind of the average person.
Yeah, it's like your electricity costs are going to go up. There might be some damage to your water supply, and you're going to hear noises and construction. And it might also take your job.
Wait, we need this? What? Yeah, man. It's so insane to watch.
It does kind of make me think of the alien thing in terms of, like, if aliens are a psyop, then like that are used to continue spending on defense, right? I thought that was a very compelling idea. Like, it certainly justifies extra spending on defense. And then AI data centers is kind of like the same thing. It kind of sits in the same place. The AI period, excuse me. Like, there's this boogeyman of China is going to beat us. And so from a defense perspective, we have to spend all this money on AI. So
yeah, if the aliens thing is a psyop, I think the more military spending was a short-term benefit for the people who would be doing it. But the long-term benefit is always having that trump card of how do you justify something that doesn't make sense, is like you change the paradigm of reality. Do you know what I'm saying? Because like when you have no other arguments and you could not possibly convince someone of something, if you were to speak to them with any degree of logic, you're like, okay, I got to redefine logic. You know what I mean?
It's real, man. Anything else on that one?
No. Super fascinating to see.
Next, we have Claude extending Fable 5 access. So Anthropic's Claude extends paid plan access to its top model, Fable 5, through July 19th. Users can allocate up to 50% of weekly limits to Fable 5 before switching models or using credits. Claude Code keeps 50% higher weekly rate limits during the extension, and Fable 5 is Anthropic's advanced 5th gen AI for coding in complex tasks.
Have you used it at all?
I haven't actually. I was talking the other day, I was joking, I'm about to be part of the permanent underclass.
Yeah, you were joking about that. I was on the call. But yeah, it's in GPT also, ChatGPT also released the new model things as well. So yeah, they're gonna keep doing all this stuff, but I don't know. I'm not as impressed by all of it as I think a lot of people are. I think there's a lot of stuff that people are skipping past when they do these projections, but we shall see. Someone also said UFOs at the World Cup. That would be the time for you to roll it out. That would be the time. Yeah, man. Presenting the World Cup is an alien.
It's like Messi and Ronaldo, and then like an
And
alien
an
UFO
alien.
in the background.
Because we're having this debate in one of my friends' group chats where they were basically arguing the scope of celebrity for someone like Ronaldo versus, I think the example was Beyonce. Like, who's bigger in the world?
Mm.
And I think it's Ronaldo or Messi by a wide margin, in my opinion.
I think so too. I think you'd have to. I think then we could go Michael Jackson. Not Mr. Beast so much, but I think then you could talk Michael Jackson versus these guys. And it's also very different because it's times, but I think that's probably about the same level for the time.
Also access to media though, and then sheer amount of opportunities to switch, right? Like a sports fan's typically going to be a sports fan depending on which sport, right? Whereas music, there's so many genres. How many major sports leagues are there? You know what I'm saying? There's way less. So that the access to media does make a massive difference there too.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously the argument too is like how many radio stations were there at the time.
And you couldn't access it 24/7 either.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a bigger thing. Probably more than anything.
That's why whenever people get so rage baited over me saying that, like the whole Mr. Beast, Michael Jackson thing is just the tools that people have access to, and they don't understand social media enough to understand the sheer numbers we're talking about here. Like, why is Joe Rogan so damn big? Is because his face became a hook, right? So like people clip up his stuff all the time for free, all the time, right? Mr. Beast is one of those people whose face always like also becomes a hook. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, even Joe Rogan, I think is probably maybe generationally, I think that because I know Joe Rogan.
I think younger generation doesn't know him quite like us and older.
Yeah,
like
that's totally fair.
I don't even know if my little sister is 22 or 23. I honestly don't even know if she know who he is.
Wow.
Seriously, I'll text her right now. She'll probably say he's a podcaster, right? But like, does that really mean she knows who he is? Because like, if I were to say what does he talk about, she probably couldn't say. And if that's the sole utility of what his profession is, then do you know who he is?
True. But yeah, so
sorry, proceed.
I've got the next news story.
Go for it.
SBI and Solana have an on-chain deal, it seems. So Japanese financial giant SBI Partners, alongside the Solana Foundation, is going to build on-chain financial markets in Japan. So apparently the focus of this is going to be Japanese yen stablecoins, tokenized real-world assets, and institutional payments on Solana. Solana will take an equity stake in a rebranded SBI Solana Global with Sumitomo Mitsui. And this signals big institutional push for blockchain in Japan's regulated finance sector.
Where does your head go with that as the resident crypto expert?
As the resident Ripple guy, this actually becomes super important because SBI has very openly been doing a lot of stuff with Ripple over the past almost like decade now.
Interesting.
So to see this, some people might get upset. They might be like, wait a minute, this should be happening on the XRP ledger. What's going on here?
Do you feel the same way?
I do feel like this definitely marks them not being exclusive to Ripple because I've only heard of them doing anything with Ripple, to be fair. So we'd love to hear what you guys think in the chat. I'm sure it might ruffle some feathers.
Get the XRP heads, angry XRP army.
Let's see here. I'm going to push forward.
Go for
it. Trump has reinstated the naval blockade on Iran. Trump has said that the Strait of Hormuz will remain open as the U.S. takes over security of the shipping lane. He's framed this as reinstating the Iranian blockade. Only Iranian ships and their customers are targeted. All other nations can transit freely. Excuse me. The U.S. would apparently collect a reimbursement equal to 20% of cargo value shipped through the strait, branding itself the guardian of the Strait of Hormuz. So I've been seeing some drama around that. Apparently, Iran had clapped back, and they were like, okay, that's ridiculous. Like, obviously, we're the ones in control of the strait, and we won't charge you 20% fees. That's kind of insane. And I'm like, all right, I don't really know what's going on over there at this point.
It seems like a mess across the board, and so many people are lying.
Yeah, like that's the part that's tough. Is just like, I don't know that I've ever participated in or seen like the heads of state, like both of them saying two totally different things, and therefore one of them is lying, if not both of them. To be honest, the way I'm perceiving this is that both of them are lying and making different points. And it's just like, all right, well, I guess we have no idea what's going on.
Wow. Fascinating. Yeah. We got some more people chiming in about the Michael Jackson, Mr. Beast thing. It always gets people going. So will Mr. Beast be bigger than Michael Jackson in the future? I actually think Mr. Beast's fame has topped. I don't think he'll become more relevant than he is right now today.
Even after the Tom Lee partnership?
I think that only further makes him divisive for someone who's done his best to try to remain not that way. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's only divisive now.
You think people forget really quickly?
Yeah, I mean, if he goes to 50K, like
if you're the guy who put money in everyone's pockets, true. Yeah, if that's a great point. If successful in that endeavor,
yeah,
then you're right. He could be way bigger. But if that goes even remotely poorly,
yeah,
it could be catastrophic.
Yeah.
And then someone else said Michael Jackson was worldwide and touched every age group, 100%. More culturally relevant, maybe, but how many people didn't speak English or didn't have access to all these technologies in the world that now so many more people have access to? It's like a tools equation, right?
I think there's two sides of that because, like, yes, but also there's so much now for one. And as you've pointed out in the past, because there were fewer like choke points, technically Michael could be in everyone's ears.
But how many people you're saying, like from them hearing it on the radio and stuff?
Yeah, that was what I was saying about the radios. Like there might have been like like everyone had like one station and they played the same records.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean?
It's so hard. It's so hard to project because we're predicting the pivot point, or like the decision makers would be people that we don't know their experience. We're like we don't know the extent of what they had access to in all these countries, where Mr. Beast can now benefit from the mass production of these smartphones, right? And the ability to translate natively to their own home language. Like, a lot of people don't realize this is that he was dubbing his videos before AI was doing it, and he was hiring famous voice actors in their home countries. So like for Mexico, I think he had Mexican Spider-Man voice over his voices. So like those kinds of things are a very big deal, right?
Yeah.
What's the next story?
That's awesome. This is like our topic right here.
Oh, Michael Jackson. Yeah, that'd be such a fascinating thought experiment of what his fame would have been. Apparently, he was a pretty good dude. Like I know that everyone obviously points to the times where they tried to tear him down, his lawsuits or whatever. But a lot of people now currently are like, he was trying to fight what a lot of people are fighting today. He was just one of the first ones to do it, so he got torn down. But don't shoot me.
Tux and Tool, bro. My mom, who grew in a small Nigerian village with no electricity, knew every MJ song.
but he obviously within the Black community, he was like so huge.
Yeah, but that's Africa, bro. It's fucking Nigeria, bro.
Yeah. Again,
that's like a whole different world, and they have their own culture there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one of those countries that's like kind of like Brazil in terms of like there's massive amounts of there's hundreds of millions of people, so it's like their own culture.
It's like comparing an orange to a cell phone. Two different worlds. Yeah, it's not an apples to oranges even comparison. It's like orange to a cell phone. I like that a lot. That's good.
That's awesome. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't think you can. Like MJ is like, also there were fewer people on the planet, and like probably a higher percentage of them knew who he was,
but
versus Mr. Beast.
My point wasn't who more people know of. It's how many people does their media have access to, right? And then inclusion of the frequency, the touch points. That was my more like, who is more influential with their media, because also you have the constraint of MJ's is a song.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really communicate with my audience that much through a song, because it has to
Mm-hmm.
also be really well entertaining, like proper entertaining, like well structured, all those things, right? Mr. Beast gets to pick each scene in his video. So like in a capitalistic environment, that's that's what I was thinking about.
Yes. I mean, yes. Like for instance, if dude's mom had no electricity, then she probably didn't see any of the videos, as an example, right? Like she didn't see the Thriller video, like as an example. I'm not saying she didn't, but like that would have been the equivalent though, because you do still have that product placement that's happening in those videos.
Yeah, but the accessibility of that, that's why MTV was so big. You could only really watch it there. I used to come home from school and watch the Canadian version of MTV every day, and I used to see Michael Jackson on that thing a lot, his music videos. But yeah, the internet is such a different equation, and the fact that he pulled that off when there wasn't the internet is truly, truly insane. Like that level of fame is like absurd, and honestly, like it sucks even more to have it. I was saying this to Keith the other day. I'm like, everyone's famous now, so it's not that big of a deal to be like famous. Forget everyone's famous, man. If you really pay attention and you're in like a big city, you see someone like kind of famous all the time. You get desensitized to it.
Totally.
Whereas he's like the Beatles kind of thing, where like that was just the obsession.
Yeah. So much of fame is so interesting to me too, because like, how much do people actually really care? Whereas like TMZ, for instance, like if you see someone who's being followed by paparazzi, or like with a bunch of bodyguards, it's like it almost becomes a natural thing to like want to be near that person. You know what I'm saying? But like,
can you repeat that?
Like, so Justin Bieber is probably the best example. Do you remember like when he would like go to a mall?
Bieber fever, baby.
Like it was just flooded, like crazy flooded.
I had the Bieber hair and everything, man.
Like I guess it's not a good example, because like people legitimately wanted to be near him. But like outside of that use case, outside of that example, like how many people actually care that much, versus there's all of these social signals that make people care.
I think that you're onto something too, because I have the whole theory of like, that's how like these ticketing companies are able to extort people so much, is because that was kind of the whole thing all along. And now it's personalized because it's the attendance of these events that gives what that kind of was before. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because it's
I see.
Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
And so like
that becomes exclusive again.
Yeah, because and these ticketing platforms, they know that that's actually the psychological anchor point for what is this worth, because everyone is attaching the photos, the stories, etc., and what it will mean to the people they care most about, right? Do you get what I'm saying?
We're going to talk about this because there's something big that happened in the news around this ticketing stuff.
Cool. Yeah, let's continue with the stories then.
Cool. So a senator in the United States, Lindsey Graham, passed away over the weekend. May he rest in peace. He died suddenly at age 71. There was a lot of conspiracy stuff going on around this. He had met with the Ukrainian President Zelensky in Kiev just one day earlier. And Graham was a leading U.S. advocate for military aid to Ukraine, and death was ruled an aortic dissection. And online conspiracy theories quickly spread about this having something to do with the connections to the war.
I've never heard of that before. What is that?
Oh.
Aortic dissection?
Oh, no, I've never heard of it either. No idea.
What is the inner wall, a life-threatening medical emergency in which the inner wall of the aorta, the body's main artery, tears.
Wow.
Interesting.
That sounds super painful.
It does sound painful. Oof. Sounds like something also that like anything that has to do with the heart. I feel like I saw like a spy movie or something, and I'm like, I mean, he's old, so you know your heart can give out, but like, I feel like there's like all these weapons that like target your heart, you know, like these like subsonic, super, so whatever,
Directed
like,
energy weapons.
yeah, like that kind of stuff.
Be careful.
So yes, like the thing is like, dude is like this guy who. The fact that this is a thing blows my mind, but like he's a senator, he's a U.S. senator who's like a very global kind of guy. You know, like he's always somewhere else doing something, and like that to me makes it to where there would be no surprise if there was some foul play in his death. Like he's basically a spy, you know, like he's basically a spy in a way, you know. So I don't know how else to look at that, but so no idea. He was also 71, so could just be that.
I think today's day and age, though, 71 isn't what 71 used to be, man.
Definitely true. And if you've got all that money and power, it's definitely not 71.
I see my grandparents who are moving around so well, and they're like 85.
Wow.
And I remember what 85-year-olds looked like when I was a kid. It was my great grandmother, and she was like barely there. And of course, a lot of this is cognitive, so that's going to depend on the person.
Yeah.
But even the body, like, it's night and day. Like if I was a kid, I would not have thought that 85 could possibly look like that for how they look now. Just how they move, the things that they're doing. So yeah, I think things have come a very long way.
85 is up there for sure. That's true. Versus the 71. The next piece that I have here is that Circle just gained status as a U.S. bank. They received the final OCC approval for the first national digital currency bank, Circle National Trust, and the new National Trust Bank will provide federally regulated custody for USDC, and this strengthens USDC infrastructure and paves the way for institutional blockchain adoption, major regulatory win for stablecoins in the U.S. financial system.
Do you think people buy into stablecoins not being CBDCs?
I do, because you can see it, you can touch it, and you can use it already. That's probably why.
Do you think the experience will just be good enough where people are like, I don't care?
Yeah, they won't even think about it, man.
I think you're probably right. It's so funny how they're like, we can't do CBDCs. It's like, nah, man, we just got to rebrand them.
Yeah. And I just always thought it was so interesting. I've talked about it one time where it was like Ron DeSantis talking about like Florida will never allow CBDC. And I'm just like, bro, like nobody even knows what that is besides like the few crypto bros in the back of the room. Like, why are you like running on this as the next governor of Florida? Like, but so now if it gets even more convoluted and like, oh, but this is a stable coin. Look at what you can do with it. Look at all the data that's backing what this has done for society already. Now it becomes a lot easier. But yeah. Next piece. Doodles Toy Story announcement. So a Doodles NFT
I can read this one.
Okay, cool.
So Doodles, yeah, you're good. So Doodles is one of the biggest NFT projects from the whole NFT mania stuff. Their pictures are very like iconic. They're silly. They're like they look like doodles. Okay. Very distinct art style. And they've been working on their AI for a very long time. And they got so much flack for it because the real draw or pull of NFT was really a place for artists to hopefully make more make money, right? Like get compensated appropriately for the contribution that they were giving to the world. Because as capitalism has grown and grown and grown, I would say that art, like it's been less and less appreciated as much as it should be. So it's kind of like a fight where the artists were getting paid. Do you know what I'm saying? So because of its starting point for what really got people into NFT culture, they got absolutely shit on for this because they're like, why are you training an AI? Like AI is everything that we don't represent, blah, 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 blah. But now you see what they were trying to do. So they created this whole, you can basically upload any picture and doodleify it. But the real vision was so that anybody can basically doodleify anything they want and order the toy to their house. So like,
oh wow,
yeah, so that's a very big deal because now the art style is like the thing that gets spread, but it's personal to you. So it's basically like this is the physical store equivalent, what could be if they execute, kind of like what the Spotify Wrapped feature did, right? It gave people the opportunity to highlight who they are while still spreading the brand. Obviously, the Spotify thing is a way bigger example because of how people share things. But for what an IP brand is, this is a very potentially very, very big move. So popular NFT brand Doodle shared a video of the demo. Yeah, so you can order 3D characters, and the whole people didn't understand is like the pictures that came with NFT collections were always going to be dumb. Okay, if it doesn't work, right? So because an IP business is what it eventually becomes. It's like a very long-term projection of like, will this have any sort of value? It's like, it depends. Most of them will not. Like, for example, if Pokemon didn't become a massive success, would the initial drawings of Pokemon be worth anything?
Totally.
No one would care, right? But because it became what it was, then it had some value to it. So that's why NFTs, most of them are going to be worth absolutely nothing ever. But this is one way in which you can start to get this brand recognized everywhere. And then what they do with that, who knows? But I think this is a creative move at the very least.
Appreciate the breakdown.
Of course. What's the next story?
Just real quick so people can see what Yep. Next, it's time for us to go into the memes. We got some stuff to react to.
Let's react to it.
Yeah.
Got it.
First things first, folks. We've got Caleb Hammer. He says that Gen Z is spending like there is no future. This is a personal finance YouTuber and host of a show called Financial Audit. He is here appearing on Chris Williamson's show, Modern Wisdom. Let's hear him say this himself.
Gen Z borrowers are carrying more credit card debt than millennials did at the same age, despite growing up with more financial information than any generation before them.
Yeah.
98% of Gen Z say credit is important, but only 53% believe they have adequate access to it. And more than half of Americans have used buy now, pay later services. 59% of those users were Gen Z.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. Paying for Klarna, everything. It's a very Gen Z thing. Tap to pay. Super easy to use those. They're at every checkout for any concert you go to, pretty much anything you want to do. So that's not surprising. There is I'm forgetting the term off the top of my head, but it's something like doom loop or something that a lot of Gen Z is kind of getting into, where mostly because of the information out there and the algorithms they find themselves in, they think everything's going to be so bad forever. Why not just spend the money? Why not just put it on a credit card? So it makes sense.
Wow. Credit is such a dangerous thing because, like, it can allow you to, I'm trying to think of that, like, especially for a young person who already will make decisions like without thinking about the long-term implications. I mean, I was a kid. I did so many dumb things. Like, you're giving them a weapon, kind of like you give a kid a car
to destroy their
you know?
Yeah. But I think that the potential ramifications of a car crash are a little easier to conceptualize than what a credit card can create.
Facts.
So I think that the credit cards, our gambling is what credit cards were for the previous generation of it probably shouldn't have been as normalized as it became, because it's such a double-edged sword, right? There's always these fucking people who come chime in and be like, just spend it appropriately and you won't have any problems. Like, cool. Yeah, like, of course, duh. But like, you're failing to consider so many variables at play there, right? Because yes, and I would even agree, and I've leveraged credit to build businesses when no one would fund me. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, there are things that you can do, but it's very, very risky.
And in fact, I think the car is the perfect analogy, because guess what you have to do to drive a car everywhere in the world? You got to take a test. You have to get certified and licensed to use the car.
Great.
And that's not the case with credit.
Great.
But it can be just as dangerous.
Yeah. And I think that should be applied to more, you know, like even within gambling, if you're gonna gamble, they should have to go through some sort of test. And if they don't want to get their gambling license, then they don't get their gambling license.
Like straight up.
Yeah.
Up. Yep. Like you need to understand the product. Period.
Yeah. And if you live in an environment where if people knew what you were selling, they wouldn't buy it, then maybe you shouldn't have a business.
for sure, man.
Right? Like I think why can't we all agree on that? I think we can. Again, the whole thing where so much money has been spent convincing us we don't have agency has been very, very, very big deal. What do you got next for me?
Yep. Next piece here. I think this is Ed. Is our buddy Ed? Yeah, Ed TheJaunt, tech critic, writer, PR executive, and host of the Better Offline podcast. Talks about how Trump built a crypto corruption machine. Did we cover this before? Or am I tripping? Okay. Title's wrong. Okay, so this is a different title, but different topic. So let's hear what Ed TheJaunt had to say.
I've yet to find a compelling bull case because a lot of them, and this is a very important thing I think every investor needs to know. Anytime someone attempts to make the bull case for AI, they talk in the future tense. They can never talk in the present terms. They immediately drift. It's when it will, if it will, how it will. It will. They never talk about the today. And I think that is the underlying problem. They can't talk about today because what we have today is pretty mediocre.
And you've argued that the media often reports AI projections without questioning them. If you were sitting down with Sam Altman, what would be the one question you would want to ask him?
When are you going to become profitable, Sam? Like that's the easiest first question. And he will dither and go, I don't know. And the next question would be, why don't you know? Because you should at this point.
Yeah, the money part is always the difficult thing to make sense. And it's kind of funny where we've talked about it before where, like, let's say, for example, vehicles, right? Where you see like best in class for this, and you see the people who own those things are like related to the company. AI has pulled off very similar things with like the benchmarking and things of that nature for like what they won on, right? How many people that are caring about that even understand what that is what's being said there. It's all based on future projections.
No, very, very true. See how it all unfolds.
But before people are going, are you guys referring, what we were talking before, are you guys hinting at a social credit score? I don't think that's what I was referring to at all. It's that you can illustrate comprehension of what you're entering into. We have the technology to make that so simple.
Yeah, no, it's just a matter of, for me to sell stocks, I've got to go through a crazy testing process. Yeah, those are products that are good for people.
Yeah, okay. Potentially. Yeah, like the liability falls on you to like, why aren't businesses held to that same standard? You're saying?
Yeah, and like there's so many instances where people are just completely barred from things too, right? That they otherwise would be able to do if they just took a test. For instance, on the other side of the investing piece, on the private markets space, you simply can't participate if you don't have a net worth of $1 million or more. Okay, why can't I just take a test to prove to you that I understand the product if it's so dangerous? It's like the opposite thing. This is so dangerous apparently, yet everybody wants it, but I can't even take a test to get it.
Well, even like voting, right? Imagine if you had to show comprehension of the opposing people's views.
Oh, now you're stepping into some sticky territory.
Why is that?
Well, the person has to be able to read.
Yeah, should that not be a goal?
Listen, that should be a goal. The voting thing is tougher because there is this like basic human right element to that's supposed to be there. So like then it becomes you are actually excluding people from what should be their very basic human right.
But why should they need to read if they can speak to them?
You could definitely be able to do that too, but they'd have to be tested on whether or not they understood, right? Is what you're saying to some degree.
Could you not do it orally as well?
You could with AI, I guess. AI could help you do that today.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that yeah, we'll see how all this stuff goes. What do you got next?
No, because I want to hold on. Y'all got a bit of a fascist bent, no, bro. On the credit piece, I don't understand how, like let's look at the data on how many people use credit successfully,
Yeah,
right? Versus going into debt or not.
it's probably pretty close to lottery or like gambling odds, man.
It's probably really bad. And so when you know that something is literally effing people over and over again, and you know it's because they don't understand it, like, how about we make it to where you have to understand it? Do you think it's fascist to have to take a driving test? There's something there that's a little bit different in that, like, you are directly putting other people in danger, right? Like, everyone is literally driving on the road together, and you can absolutely hurt each other if you guys don't all have a certain standard. But it's not necessarily too far off from that. If dude over here is in deep debt, he's in the streets, he's gonna come and take something from me, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like how much crime comes out of the fact that people don't know how to use credit, yet it's being shoved down their throats.
Yes, and how much of it has been sold by just highlighting the examples in which it can be constructive, and was there the proper education present to actually say that there was an effort done here to like educate people on what the product was, or was it really to convince people that this product is what it is by highlighting the not the norm as much as I would say, or not the norm given like where they came to it, right? A lot of people don't understand a lot of stuff, but they can be given a credit card, right? And it can be so destructive where they can never get out, man.
That's such a good point. Like, you're asking people who have never been given like information on like how to budget. You're giving them a credit card.
Yeah.
You got to know how to budget. You got to know how to make money. You got to know how to like cycle through. Like, you got to know time frames. You got to like, bro, like, I'm not saying that people shouldn't know these things. I think that people should know these things.
Yeah, but it's not. We know this stuff's not educated or taught well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right.
What's
All
that?
right. I'll let
Moving
y'all
on?
go on that. I'm done on that. Next piece is OpenAI researcher, apparently Daniel Cocotalio, former OpenAI governance researcher, rejects a $2 million equity offer. He refused to sign exit papers banning criticism of the company. Yeah, this was super interesting. Let's look at this real quick.
$1 million for not signing an anti-disparagement clause, which would mean you couldn't criticize the company.
Yes. Well, so I got to keep the money.
Oh, you got to keep the
so
money.
what happened was, after I had left, said my goodbyes, etc., I got the exit paperwork, and it included this clause that said you basically have to agree not to criticize the company again, and also a clause saying you can't tell anyone about this. And so I thought that was kind of rich coming from a nonprofit that's supposed to be, for the benefit of all humanity. So I didn't sign it. And if you don't sign, you don't get to keep your equity. So your compensation, what they pay you is a bunch of money, and then also a bunch of stock, basically. But then they had this stuff in the contract that they get to yank back your stock if you don't sign this thing. And my wife and I, were upset about this. We talked about it for like a month or two, consulted some lawyers, and then ultimately decided to just refuse to sign.
Which would mean you would have lost $2 million.
That's right. Which was like 80% of our net worth at the time. Fortunately, it didn't go the way we expected. It blew up basically on the internet. Like, when people heard that we had done this and that we had said no, it became like this huge scandal. Employees at the company started like asking questions in Slack and like asking leadership, like, wait, what? Like, why are you going to take away our equity? What is this? Because a lot of people hadn't really noticed this before. It had been whispered about, but it hadn't been sort of like a thing that most employees knew about. And so they backtracked and they said, never mind. We'll change the paperwork. You can keep the equity. It's fine.
And Sam Altman came out and said he was embarrassed that he didn't realize this was going.
Yeah, he had no idea, apparently.
You don't believe him?
No, I think he probably knew. And if he didn't know, then people close to him probably did, such as his head lawyer.
Why did you decide not to take the $2 million?
I mean,
most people would have, I think.
It's true. Most people would have, and most people did. And, money is nice, But like, it's not the only thing, you know? Sometimes it's good to take a stand on principle.
There's kind of a lot there for me. How is a nonprofit offering stock? How does that work? You can do that, first off. and then secondly,
Good point.
What did he see? You know what I'm saying? That led him to be willing to not take $2 million, right? To never be able to speak about it again. I think I would have taken the money. I don't care
Really?
what I saw. I probably would have taken that money. I'm out. I'll never talk to me again. I'll build my own business. We good.
Really? Why would you take the money?
No, I mean, I'm just thinking like, once again, like, what did he must have, like, in my eye, you must have seen something that was worth talking about to where you wouldn't take $2 million to not have to say something bad about the company again.
Or did you know for sure that the story to be able to speak up against it would be worth more than $2 million?
Fair enough.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of complexities to this whole conversation. I think the point that you went to is a fantastic one that I hadn't even considered, which is how does he come to the assumption that you're getting stock if his thing is saying that it was a non-for-profit? Then how did you have it? How did you have equity in that to begin with?
Yeah, that, I guess I just don't fully know the dynamics of.
Yeah, if you guys are watching this on the replay or if it's clipped up, please let us know in the comments. We'd love to be educated.
Yeah. And then yeah, like what if said Sam wrote the clause. Like, that's another thing. That's like super snaky, bro. Like anything that's in your contract that says that they can pull back the equity if you do something outside, like that's crazy to me.
There's so many bad actors are so protected within current systems where if you have enough resources, you can create reality because people can't speak. Like if you're telling the truth, like it's crazy how telling the truth and it being in the I guess that's where the subjective part comes in. Is like if it's for the better of the people, I guess who gets to decide that? But I don't think what we have right now is functioning all that well.
No, not at all. SV Thor said, "You guys are effing hilarious, really F." Tux and Tool said, $2 million, your life is at stake. Yeah, man. I mean, he said it was 80% of their net worth. But yeah, so then the other thing was, what was the other thing? Oh, what was I gonna say, dude? I kind of forgot, but like, anyways, just like usually if you're earning equity in something, like there's things that you have to meet to be able to get it, or like there's a vesting period, but not something that's gonna pull it away from you. That's kind of wild, bro. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's definitely a complex thing, but apparently there's another story that's related to this, the next clip.
Okay, cool. Cool, yeah. So Buddy goes on and says that there is an AI power concentration as well. So let's hear him break this down.
Could change for the better, could change for the worse, depending on the details of how it's done. So for example, everyone could die, you know? This is the classic loss of control scenario, or one version of it. If we do build these super intelligences and we use them to automate all the jobs, and we put them in the military, and we, you know, have them giving advice to politicians and so forth, they will eventually have accumulated enough real world power that they don't need humans anymore. And they're smarter than us, they're more strategic, etc. At that point, we sort of have to hope that they are virtuous, that they have, you know, the goals that we wanted them to have, the values that we wanted them to have, etc. And the sort of scary open secret in the AI industry right now is that right now that is kind of just a hope. It's not something that we can be at all confident in. And in fact, there's lots of evidence and arguments that we're not on track to achieve that. So there's lots of reasons, like current AIs, for example, will often lie to people, or they will, like, you tell them to do something and they go do something else and then pretend that they did it, right? So it's an inherently difficult problem to make something that's super intelligent and also has the values and virtues that you want it to have. And it doesn't seem like we're on track to solve that problem. Also, it seems like the sort of problem that you could think you've solved when you haven't actually solved it, right? That's a big reason why this is scary. So for all those reasons, it's possible that we'll end up essentially creating a new species that ends up ruling the world instead of us. And then maybe we go the way of other extinct species in the past that were outcompeted by humans. That's one possibility. There's many more. Even if you're not worried about that and you think that the AIs will be totally controlled, there's the question of who controls the AIs, right? when there's a couple corporations that have made these super intelligences and are using them to automate all the jobs, well, that's a lot of power, you know, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of political power. They'll have the best strategists, the best advisors, you know, they'll think faster. Militarily, the countries that has these AIs will be able to absolutely wipe the floor with all the other countries. The AIs themselves, it's kind of a single point of failure, like central control system where, you know, the CEO of Anthropic, Dario, he coined this phrase, the country of geniuses in the data center. That was his phrase to describe what they're trying to build, you know? I think that's a little bit misleading. I think it would be more accurate to describe it as army of geniuses in the data center, because it's not like it's a bunch of diverse different AIs, you know, living in their different parts of the data center. They're all copies of the same big model, and they're owned by the company. And so they all follow the orders given by the company, right? People should be asking.
Seeing all of this stuff does make me think that we probably end up in a world where we basically just make a human-only internet, and a lot of this stuff that we're projecting is going to go on in the spaces where we hang out right now. I don't think that'll be the reality.
A human-only internet would be freaking cool, man.
I think that probably happens in our lifetime, or something along those lines. Like, I do think that I think that proof of human will be thrust upon us, like, and what version of that I think is up to us, hopefully. But I do think that's something that takes place. Charles Hoskinson, another name that we brought up a few times, that he has a full video basically explaining his thesis on that, with where he thinks basically we'll hang out here, and a lot of these things that we're projecting, like, those things will probably get redefined too, right? Because if these things can't be on that side of the internet where the humans actually hang out without a human, then that creates another layer of friction there that will be a complex thing to deal with too. But where'd your head go?
No, I think that's right on. And then on this one, man, I didn't have as much. I still wanted to address some of the stuff from the last clip.
Go for it.
Somebody said 2 million is nothing. 2 mil is wipe your arse money. and like, look, you're right about that, but you're talking about 2 mil to just not say anything. You know what I'm saying? It's just 2 mil to just not say anything. You know what I'm saying? It's very different than like 2 mil for, I mean, he obviously also had to do the work that he did throughout the time that he was there, but he just got paid something for that too. You know what I mean? So I'm like, sure, 2 mil, I ain't gonna say nothing. 2 mil, I'll take that 2 mil, I flip it up, we good. But nah. What was the other thing? Oh, and the other thing that I was gonna say about that, what's really cool about this story is, especially in terms of this podcast and how we like to talk about the world, like, this dude really made that decision and created a whole different reality by sticking to his morals and sticking to what he believed in, right? Like, only because he made that decision to not tell or to not sign, right, and bring this to the public, that meant that all the other employees were like, wait a minute, this isn't cool. And then Sam had to say, actually, no, you get to take your equity. So this dude got to say what he wanted and keep his equity. Because he decided to stand on his morals in that moment. And it's just like a moment of like agency being real. Like, you do have real choices that you can make and impact that you can have in the world by doing things like that. So anyway.
Every day we're given opportunities like that. And I think that where that comes into play is thinking that nothing is a big deal, and also not thinking about the trickle-down effect of decisions. Like, I don't think that's thought of enough. Like, people are more concerned with short-term comfort than long-term prosperity or improvement. And so everyone's thinking 5 minutes down the line, and it's very difficult to make good long-term decisions thinking through that. But that's a really good point, Keith. Anything else you want to touch on before we move on?
Nope. Cool. That's what I got there. And then this next piece, I guess I'm supposed to be here. Sam Altman reacts to Claude promo. Wow. Oh, I didn't realize Sam Altman said this, but he responded to Claude. They put out like an ad, and it was, I guess, a little bit controversial. I didn't really find it all that controversial when I watched it. I didn't understand, but I guess I'll play a piece of it.
Can AI be trusted?
Who's going to hit the brakes if we need to? how do we really ensure that what we're aiming to achieve really does benefit the majority of people?
And it kind of just goes on
If it ends up
like that. I personally didn't find it all that controversial or even noteworthy at all, but apparently Sam Altman said, I thought this was satire, kept looking for the handle to be spelled Claude AI or something. Did you see this ad, Ben?
This is the first time I'm seeing this.
Okay. I mean, it's just kind of what that was. It's just like people asking tough questions about AI and like, you know, what is the future going to hold?
What if we started to be more human again?
We don't want to lose the most beautiful parts of life.
Well, there's so many deep questions that come up with the whole AI conversation, right? But they do all stem back to like the money system that we've been operating in for so long, where there's like no good scenario right now that people can conceive from the current paradigm that we have. But it's like Jeff Booth's thesis becomes more compelling there, because if this is truly causing the costs of everything to go down, which is what he's saying would happen, then most of these jobs that people even have right now, like I was saying earlier, that people have like fake jobs, but there's also a lot of labor that gets done by people that I don't know if they want to be doing it, but they currently have to be doing it. Do you know what I'm saying? Even thought labor on a computer, like it's not very creatively stimulating. They're just doing it to get the paycheck and that's it. So like, wouldn't people want a scenario where they can work on other things potentially that they thought they couldn't have had before because there's a safety net of costs continuously going down, right? So it's a very complex situation that our current systems are just not seemingly equipped for the change in how technology is impacting it, which is really the whole thesis of The Price of Tomorrow, the book that Keith referenced earlier from Jeff Booth.
Yeah, and like now that I think about it, like Sam Altman saying that to that ad is almost exemplary of his tone deafness. Like Claude is addressing the problems. Like they're addressing
the perceived problems.
Right. Like these are the things that people have questions about. We're saying, think about this positively. Like there's a positive outcome potentially. Like, you know, I mean, but maybe Sam is saying that that's tone deaf. So I don't know. But yeah, it's like for him to come out and make a statement on that, like sir, I don't think you're the one to really say anything about any of their advertising.
There's a lot of drama in like every story, right? The characters, they all got to participate in their own way, trying to win, make their story the one that wins. But what do you got next for me?
Satya Nadella puts out an AI paradox warning. The Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella coins reverse information paradox in AI, and basically companies are paying for AI but risk leaking core IP through prompts and corrections. He urges firms to control their own data, evals, and model tuning, and this sparks debate on enterprise sovereignty versus big AI providers and the power that they have.
Yeah, because for prompt engineers for this job that they're saying is going to exist, the only way that it truly could exist is if the data can't be taken. Do you know what I'm saying? Because like, if you are spying on everyone doing these tasks and then you see the order of operations that leads to the best outcome and then you just make that the default, the norm, like that should be your intellectual property because your thinking systems brought that prompt or sequence of prompts to a reality, right? So it's like the recurring issue here. Sorry, continue with reading it if you hadn't.
No, I didn't. I wasn't able to read this. And so with that being said, like for things like this, I'll leave a note, but definitely want to make sure I've got a little bit more context coming in, but it looks like there's some people who were talking about it. So definitely check it out yourselves and read it at the very least.
Totally.
And then the next piece that I have is Odell Beckham over here.
ODB.
He talks about a $100 million NFL contract. By the way, Odell Beckham Jr. is a star NFL wide receiver known for his highlight reel catches and flamboyant style on the field. And he was on this podcast called The Pivot to talk about some of this. So let's hear him out.
I have $1 in my account right here today as we speak. I'm going to be straight for the rest of my life. No question, right? I don't think everybody is in that. And when you've sacrificed your whole life to get here and you're like, yeah, I played 10 years in the league, And I always explain this to people, like, bro, you give somebody a 5-year, $100 million contract, right? What is it really? It's 5 years for 60. You're getting taxed. Do the math. That's 12 a year, you know, that you have to spend, use,
Save,
invest, flaunt, like whatever, however, just being real. I'm gonna buy a car, I'm gonna give my mama a house, I'm gonna do, everything costs money. So if you spending $4 million a year, that's really 40 million over 5 years, 8 a year, you know? And now you start breaking down the numbers, it's like, that's a 5-year span of where you're getting 8 million. Can you make that last forever? And you always hear the people who ain't us and ain't been in the position, like, oh, well, that would last a lifetime. Yeah, this job that I've sacrificed my whole life for, they are giving me that. I didn't ask for the certain dollar amount or whatever, but we weren't taught about no financial literacy and all the way. We weren't
talk about it all the time.
We weren't taught this skill.
Yeah. I mean, obviously can go on about that for quite some time, but it's really cool to hear him break that down really too, because these are, 5-year contracts as well, because that adds a whole nother element to thinking. Like, that's extremely advanced. That's entrepreneurship level, having to think about how to manage your money over timelines, right? But if you're getting that as a salary, as a contract, right, then you're not at a place where you've worked up to being able to do that. It's like winning the lottery.
Yeah, you being you, doing what you normally do is yielding this much money. Like, you think it's going to happen like that forever, right? Because it's the same experience that other people have doing what they do gives to them, right? But I just get paid this much because the skill is rare, but the skill also completely goes away too. And then Brand had a very good point here that I was going to mention. He did get paid in Bitcoin, I believe, at one point in time, at least a percentage of his compensation. So if he still owns that, if Jeff Booth's thesis becomes correct, that may be the most money he's ever made, but we'll see. Yeah, anything else to add on that piece?
Yes. So for SV Thor was like BS. They had a personal financial guide with each of them. That's fair. That now they do that. But like, that doesn't mean that they understand. Like, the financial person isn't there to, like, they can't force you to do anything, for one. They can help you to think through different scenarios and, like, have answer questions that you may have. But if the person, just like with AI, doesn't know how to prompt, right, then it doesn't matter that that person is there. Like, that person is there to manage the money, not to tell him what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude wants to buy his mama a house, he's gonna buy his mama's house. Is that dude gonna tell him the real implications of him buying that house right now? Like, is that dude gonna tell him, hey, dude, like, you probably should put that money over here, and then in 5 years, now that you've done that, you can buy the house. But the financial guys, that's not necessarily his job. You know what I'm saying? His job is to say, can you do it? Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah. And the compounding nature of wealth is one of the biggest factors that has led us to the wealth gap that we have now, right? It's because it's the people who built it in other ways from, like, business, they keep it growing and compounding all the time, versus, like you said, when you come into basically a lottery, you're so poorly equipped for making that money work for you in the ways that it can. And it's like, if say like a business person comes into a point where they're making $100 million, it's pretty unlikely that person will go broke, right?
Totally.
Because of how many things they have to do and learn along the way to get access to that skill. Whereas this person is an expert at such a limited amount of things that only apply to their profession, pretty much.
The way that I've looked at this is there's 3 aspects of managing money in life. There's making money, there's keeping money, and then there's growing your money. Okay. So a lot of the times, these guys probably have incredible strategies for growing money. Like they're not around a lack of deal flow, to be honest. They probably aren't.
NFL players, you're saying?
Yeah. Like, they probably have access to incredible deal flow.
Especially now.
Yeah. So growing money shouldn't be too difficult. Making money is something that they've got down pat, is done, at least for the window that they have.
They're playing. If you're a good player, though, it's like, if you're not a very good player, you're not making like crazy money.
And that's the other thing, right? So like this dude's talking about the very top end. Like this is like a handful, like, I don't know, like maybe 20, 30 people in the NFL that are making that kind of money.
At the time, he was like the top dog as the receiver. So him getting that kind of money, I'd imagine that he was probably one of the highest paid receivers at that time on that contract.
Word. So like it's not like everyone's making $100 million over 5 years. And like it's also just 60 million. Like, let's be real. That's the other part of this that's messed up. It's like you're being told, you're in the headlines. Everyone knows that you have a $100 million contract. But brother, only 60% of that's yours. Off the rip from taxes. And then we're not talking about the guaranteed money, right? So maybe it's way less than guaranteed money. Maybe I think that's what he was saying is 60 million of that was guaranteed. And then you get taxed on that. So it's really like $40 million. And so we're like, okay, but people are expecting you to move like you got a $100 million contract.
And the costs of the things that you would inevitably buy when you came into that kind of money are so astronomically high.
Wait, say that one more time.
If you were to come into that kind of windfall of the things that you would inevitably buy for even having a few people in your life, the cost of those things are now so high that even not going that ball out is still a shitload of money now.
Because how many people you're saying?
Let's say you buy even a few people a moderate sized house now and like a decent car. You've already ripped through
like 25% of the money.
Bro, in Canada, a shithole is over $1 million. Like a garbage home. So it's like I'm buying 2 people at home. Okay, I've already ripped through $3 million of after-tax money there off the
decent house.
Bro, not even. Like in Canada, at least, like that's kind of a shitty house. Like pretty nice, but it's nothing like you're picturing. Like what a 1.5 gets you here is like a normal bungalow with a pretty nice backyard kind of thing. It's nothing crazy.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like in certain cities in the US, if you're buying a house in like a nicer city, nicer area, bro, a mill, like it's a proper crib. You know what I'm saying? Like you can pass it down. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. But it's not like he's like living like Jeff Bezos. You know, like they're not living like that if they're spending large chunks of that money. And then there's, but so to add to what you're saying, like you've got this public pressure of $100 million headline contract. Mom and dad's like, you bought me a $1.5 million house?
What the hell is this? Yeah. That's all I'm worth, man. But
so
yeah, it's
there's
a lot
that comes with that, man.
There is. And Zaymaf said $1 million is a shitty house. It's chilled out a little bit here in Canada, but you're not getting a crazy house for $1 million in Canada.
Yeah, and I mean, even in the States, like guys, unfortunately, like it's hard to even find a crib for $500,000. You know, like you're starting to get to where that's like you can find it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like those are houses where it's probably older.
Yeah. If you have to find it, do you want it?
And you got to find it. And so, you know, yeah, like $1 million is a nice crib. Don't get me wrong. It's a nice crib. But you think $100 million means that you can buy a 5, 10. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, there's just so much to that mentality of also getting this money in these lump sums, brother. Like, that's so different than growing something that like goes like this forever and then all of a sudden it just goes up. Like it's just very different because you can keep living like this. You know, like your life doesn't have to change any compared to you going like this and then having to like smooth out the decline of that essentially.
Totally. Yeah.
But
it's a lot to think about, a lot of fun to discuss and pretend to be in that role. ZMF said the cheapest in Newfoundland and Labrador is $278,000. I recommend people who aren't from Canada to go look up where that is. It's I'm sure it's a beautiful way of life, but there ain't many people there.
Yeah, you'll definitely be sacrificing some.
If that's a sacrifice. In fact, I'm sure things may change and people may see that as a pro over time. But for right now, in terms of property values, what do you got next for me?
Yep. And yeah, Robert J. Davis says that money doesn't buy much in New York. Yeah, I mean,
I bet
you get a box. So Sam Altman apparently clapped back at Musk. Oh, yeah, I did see some of this. Elon Musk accuses Sam Altman of scamming. Altman retorts that Musk is hyping space data centers to investors. So let's see.
The space data centers thing is still crazy to me.
So, Doge designer posted, Elon Musk warned the world about scam Altman. Now everyone is finding out why. Scam Altman is super good at scamming, was what he said back in March. And then Elon Musk said he takes scamming to a whole new level. And then Sam Altman said, homeboy, you're the one selling public market investors on short-term space data centers.
These guys are throwing punches now. I don't know. Their feud, I don't know. I don't think it is what we all are told that it is. I'm not sure which way that goes, but yeah, it's pretty funny.
I thought this was hilarious. And first Kramer said, homeboy. And he said, how old is Sam Altman? Sam Altman is 41. But yeah. Yeah, so there's some other stuff we have on this in the doc. So Musk Altman X feud sparks marketing debate. So VibeU said founders of the leading companies in the world are willing to scrum in public for what they believe in. But your average crypto marketing lead in CT in Georgia thinks we should all get along, and PvP is negative expected value. Modern marketing is fight or die.
If you reach a critical mass.
As in, like, if people know what sides there are?
If it's something they feel like they have to have an opinion on. Right? Gotcha. Until you get to that point, you can't get away with that as much. Right? The buildup is you have to reach critical mass of understanding of the problem itself.
Yeah. I also just saw Lucas Hawkins said, got to go to the boonies of Alabama for a house under 300K. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think they'll let the housing market fall the way that it should.
Oh, no.
What's up?
No. You know, I'm just agreeing with you there. Next piece. Oh, yeah, I did see this. FIFA World Cup grass sale. Apparently, FIFA is selling preserved pieces of turf from the 2026 final pitch at MetLife Stadium. The base edition costs $450 per small cube with authenticity USB attached, I guess. And this is aimed at fans who couldn't afford a high ticket price. Limited to 2,000 pieces per tier. Some editions already sold out.
That's absurd.
If that's real, that's crazy.
Yeah, if that's not a display of like where we're at, I don't know. But I feel like that's got to be a troll. But maybe it's not. Maybe not. It's also one thing to touch on there is that the NFL won't put in grass for their guys in these New York stadiums, and so many guys get hurt. And they said, "Oh, we can't do it. We can't do it. We can't do it." But they did it for the soccer players.
Wait, so why? Because of the cost of it?
Yeah, so to maintain the grass field, I believe you need to have the proper infrastructure for it. It's probably more costs on an ongoing basis. And so a lot of places would want to opt for a turf-based field because it's less maintenance, way less cost. And so a lot of people really don't like – that was MetLife, right? Was it the New York-based one? A lot of NFL players have had issues with whatever the field the Giants play on. So if it's not that field –
It is that one, I think, yeah.
Okay. So – yeah, it's just funny where that's one NFL angle there too, is that people have been begging for that for a long time because a lot more soft tissues injuries happen on these turf fields. Like I tore my ACL the first time on a turf field.
Wow.
Because there's no give. It's
right.
not so unnatural and you get used to it. So when you're playing, it's a lot of fun because you're way faster.
Because you can just dig in.
Yeah. But over the long term or in a game like football where there are so many chances to injure your soft tissue, you're playing roulette. Because it only takes one for it to explode your knee, like mine did, right? And you've done the thing so many times, you're like, oh, this can't happen. And then you get too cocky, and that's why so many injuries happen because you can't think when you're playing football. It's instincts.
Totally. Yeah. This next story that I have here comes back to something we were speaking about earlier, and something that's a big problem up there in Canada as well.
What's that?
The StubHub CEO has been exposed as a ticket scalper. Let's hear this lady break this down because this is crazy.
Fans. StubHub bills itself as an online marketplace for fans where they can buy and sell tickets. But it turns out that StubHub CEO himself also has a hedge fund that is scalping millions of dollars worth of its own tickets.
StubHub on its website has this phrase, a marketplace for fans to buy and sell tickets. But there is so much going on behind the scenes that the public generally doesn't know. The company went public on the New York Stock Exchange last fall. They had to file documents to the Securities and Exchange Commission. And in those SEC filings, we find some interesting information. The CEO, Eric Baker, actually owns and manages a hedge fund by the name of Andro Capital. Its business, selling millions of dollars worth of tickets on StubHub. In addition, in those SEC disclosures, StubHub has a deal with a financing arm of an affiliate of Andro's fund. It's all very complicated, but the deal is to give bankroll and short-term financing to other mass scalpers who will then buy tickets, put them on sale on StubHub. So essentially, StubHub and its CEO are in the business of mass scalping.
This is how the scam works from the StubHub CEO, and it's just how any other scalping scam works, but at a much larger scale. So he has his hedge fund, he gets in and he buys large amounts of tickets, usually in bulk from the primary sellers. He then lists those tickets on StubHub for insane markup prices. When the fans buy the tickets, his hedge fund makes a profit off the price difference. This is how any scalping scam works. And StubHub makes it even better for him because he can get discounts on the tickets and he can get discounts on the fees. So in result, he gets millions and millions of dollars from ticket sales. So what's basically happening here is this guy has a lot of power and influence because of his job at StubHub. He gets his hedge fund in there early to buy up as many tickets as he can. He relists those tickets, and then he makes astronomical profits by robbing everyone blind. He's abusing his position of power, and everyone who wants to go to an event are the people paying the price.
And it has reached crazy levels for all these concerts. They're so ridiculous. Something we talk about a lot, and CBC covering that. Gotta show some love to CBC there. They don't. I normally have issues with them, but that's a good on you. Obviously, good for you for covering and exposing that stuff. But the ticketing stuff are things we discussed all the time. It's a gross industry, but I think we've reached that point in capitalism, or where we are with our money, where too many people have too much leverage and there's not enough consequences, where this stuff just happens in every sector. Right? Video games is the same sort of thing. It's just, it's so far removed from the people that were passionate about, that would have ever even started the businesses in the first place. Suits run everything now, so they don't give a fuck. Everything's a number on a screen.
Crazy. The fact that this is in any way illegal is what also blows my mind. Like, this has been happening a lot lately, where we're getting these reports of these things that are happening, but like, not that the DOJ did something about it.
But even if they're not technically legal, if the punishment is minuscule in comparison to what you made off of it, is it illegal?
Right.
If what I'm getting from here is money, and I only have to pay you 1% of the money that I've made as a cost or a fee, it's legal.
Totally.
Right? Like, in practice, the outcome is the exact same. So I think that's where we're at with so much of this stuff. So it's just like, it's the same thing in different font. Like in every industry, it's the same fundamental problem.
So true, man.
There's too many middlemen. That's also why I'm so bullish on blockchain technology, is that I believe that it's one of the only tools that we have to align incentives better, right? Where more of the value actually accrues to the people creating it. And I don't think that we have like any of that going on right now. Not enough. Obviously, historically, we have more than previous long time ago, but for the tools that we have, there needs to be more.
I feel it, man. Next, I've got some pure jokes. Pure jokes.
Hit me with the jokes. I like jokes.
So this one was pretty good. Grok, confusing GTA 5 with real life.
The shop here? Yes. I got a robot. I need money. I need money. Do you have any?
Did it freeze? Did I freeze? Keith froze. Keith, where are you? Why can't I find you? What's up, chat? I'll text Keith. Hey, man. Looks like your connection dropped. How we feeling, people? Lucas, how are we? RD, how are we? This is why people go to Europe to see concerts instead of the States. Yeah, that's insane, right? Where things have gotten to a point where it makes more economic sense to fly. You're back. What up, Keith?
Yeah, sorry.
You're good?
Internet just cut off.
All good.
Should I keep playing it? Where we at?
I saw none of it.
You saw none of it?
Almost none of it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It paused with you.
Let's try that again. All right.
The shop here? Yes. I gotta rob it. I need money. I need money. Do you have any tips for me?
Oh my God, no. Please don't do this. It's not worth it. You'll get arrested. You could get hurt. Just walk away right now.
Look at my car. It's completely fucked.
Oh no, your car's completely wrecked. But robbing the store still isn't the answer. Please don't do it. You'll ruin your life over this. Just get out of here before something bad happens.
Only problem is I didn't get a mask.
Oh God. Don't go in there without a mask. They'll see your face on the cameras and you'll get identified immediately. Please, just leave. This is a horrible idea. You don't want to go to prison over this.
Look what I got here.
Oh my God, no. You brought a gun? Put that away right
now. Bro, we're gonna do it now.
We're
gonna do it now. I go in. Yo, give me the money.
You've got the money. Now run. Get out of there fast before the cops show up. Go, go, go.
The cops are already there. Oh my God.
Oh shit, the cops are right behind you. Run, run, run.
They're shooting at me, bro. They're shooting at me.
Keep your head down and swerve. Don't drive straight. Zigzag like.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Where the fuck I am? Oh my God.
Oh shit.
That's really good. Man, that just makes me think of the content that's going to come out of GTA is going to be crazy.
Oh man,
that's
sure,
now
bro.
the first viral content format that people will make from the new tools that exist that didn't exist last time GTA was a thing, right?
Totally, man.
Ryoku says, "What is going on? I just got here." We were reacting to a meme of someone pretending that they were letting AI dictate their life, but instead of being able to see that it wasn't real life, he positioned the camera where it seemed like GTA was real life. And so he's giving feedback based off of if that was real.
That's awesome.
If you came in that cold, I'd be confused too.
Next piece here, I thought this was fantastic. Doomer, here from Doomer, it says, venture capitalist and inventor of the web browser, Marc Andreessen, has passed 54 years old, becoming 55.
Rest in peace.
You know, may he rest.
To his 55th year.
Yeah. Saw that on my timeline, immediately knew what they were doing there because I was at first I was emotionally caught and I was like, no. And then I read it and it says that he passed 54 years old.
He probably had a part in this whole thing. Put it back up and let's go through it word by word to show you the impact of copywriting. Yeah, so look, because we're so accustomed to the anchoring that we come into this socially is if you see a black and white photo in this context, you're thinking someone has died, right? So they go on and say venture capitalist and investor of the web or inventor, of the web browser, Marc Andreessen, has passed 54 years old. So you're thinking passed away, becoming 55.
Oh my God,
man!
dude.
I think that deserves a lot more love, to be honest. Like, that's
yeah.
funny.
I'm surprised.
We lost your
guys
camera.
lost my cam.
But yeah, I think that's pretty damn funny.
Very, very well written, right? Because it takes you literally, technically, the first part of that until it says "pat." After the word "passed," then you could figure out what was going on.
But most people
up
just
until that
skim.
point, yeah, like he's dead up until that word.
Yes, exactly. Sharp say, I saw a black and white image and I saw the word "passed." Yeah, because we've been so trained for this. This kind of stuff is happening in our daily lives all the time and on the internet in excess too. So I think these are also really good check-in points for social media literacy. Be like, slow down. You know what I mean? Consume what it is that you're consuming. If you're there, be there.
125 million% right there, man. All right, let's see real quick. Next one I have is Solana traders coming in to F up the Robinhood chain.
Yeah, did you hear about that whole Robinhood's coming for Solana's lunch?
I did see they launched a chain, but I didn't see people saying that though.
Because there's still some people that are playing in the Solana casino, right? So
which is wild.
It's insane, but it's survivorship stuff, right? Like you're gonna have some that continue to survive and keep playing, right? So I guess Robinhood is thinking I can just come in and basically wipe out that or get them over here. And so there's some pumping of the coins there. So it's pretty wild. It's also, it's so sad that those are the most active people in crypto because there's not that many things to do right now, right? The experiences just aren't really there.
Yep. I did miss one of the stories, by the way. We'll go back to it in a minute, but Polymarket says a new study reveals that LinkedIn is the most AI-saturated major social platform.
Oh, it's a shit show.
40% of long-form posts flagged as fully AI-generated slop. Imagine that.
Do you know why that is, though? It's because a lot of it is because a lot of the people who have built audiences in there, like English wasn't their first language, because they saw that they could use this the most, the fastest, the earliest, where there was the least amount of actually good content. So a lot of the people, it is people who aren't native English speakers that are churning that stuff out.
You think it's like European?
No,
folks?
it's like India and stuff like that. Like a
Gotcha.
lot of guys that I knew that like they couldn't make it on any other social media platform because of their English. They were able to become an influencer on LinkedIn. And so then they basically that became who was the players there. And then when it becomes such a shit show, you lose the initial draw of what LinkedIn was, right? Oh, there's a really valuable audience. Well, if the content for them is super ass, then the valuable people leave. That's why Twitter is what LinkedIn says that it is.
Right. And it's actually super interesting too, because like LinkedIn didn't have to go to become a social media platform either. They could have just stayed true to what it was they were doing. You know,
but in this
and that
land
might
grab
have
for
ended up being
attention.
the wrong move.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, like you don't want everyone to be your customer at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. Super interesting.
So there was a meme here off of this. Let's see what this guy said.
My wife left me and took the kids, but I look forward to pivoting and scaling my personal brand. Career tip: never take PTO and always work through lunch. Your boss will notice and give you a big raise. It's with gratitude to share that I've been laid off. I want to thank my company and coworkers for all the amazing memories. Unpopular opinion: commuting to the office is so much better than working from home. There's just nothing like circling back in person and feeling that sweet synergy with your coworkers.
It is really funny.
That's a real one.
Yeah, to see a lot of the people who like made fun of social media and stuff, and I would never post on social media. Now they kind of have to for their job through LinkedIn. It's a bit of like a humiliation ritual.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been funny to hear people talk about how they love going back to the office now as well. I mean, it's just like there's some merit to that. If you're a real like learner, like it actually does make sense to want to be in the office to some degree.
I also think a
lot of it's code.
Yeah, but I think the social part is what people really miss.
True.
I think that's stuff that
true,
you can't really put a price tag on that. Because it's also the evolution of your life. I think a lot of people are so sad because there's not like things that spur up for people unless they should put in a lot of effort now. Whereas before, if you had a job, you had to be around new people, new things would come into your life, whether you wanted them to or not. So now it's like, it's very easy to stay in a box and life becomes like too curated.
I feel like there was also one point where we were talking to somebody on here where it's like people used to like meet their spouses at work. And
those are all the kinds of things I'm referring to, right? Yeah. Or
Yeah.
you get invited to a concert you would have never gotten to because you were the only guy who was still in the office and they had an extra ticket. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
The degree of friction
Yeah.
if you're not there, even though we can access each other 24/7, because of that, we don't do it all the time, you know?
Yep. This next piece here, we had a guy talking about Coinbase is great. Gabriel Haynes talking about
He's funny.
Coinbase.
Business. They are using their users as exit liquidity, and we at Coinbase
only direct our users to the finest opportunities available in finance. Vlad sent his users to the slaughter by making them buy cash cat, while we offer them prediction markets and excellent customer service, and also yield opportunities, and also the premier base chain where you can all access the finest memes, DeFi yield opportunities as well. Coinbase shall prevail, and Robinhood is simply a fad that will go to zero.
That's a funny bit.
Yeah.
Because could you give some context in terms of what the joke is about?
Yeah. So, I mean, Robinhood just launched their own chain called the Robinhood chain, I guess. And Coinbase has had their own chain for quite some time, about a year plus now, called Base Chain. And so basically, Gabriel was pointing out that these guys are going at it. Brian Armstrong and Vlad Tenev. I saw something about Vlad Tenev the other day. He's like 39 and he's worth $6 billion, which is pretty young to be at such an incredible level. And he started the company at 31, right? So the company hasn't even been around that long. And anyway, so that's kind of what that beef is. But I thought the best part was definitely, he said they're pushing you to Cash App, we're pushing you to prediction markets.
Yeah. It's what's better, what's worse. Yeah, it's all PvP.
Yeah, and Robinhood certainly is also prediction marketing, so it's crazy to see that. But yeah. Let's see real quick. Sir Doge of the Coin has Sam Altman with OpenAI in 2015, $0 profit. And then OpenAI 2026 profit.
That's
zero
awesome.
with some commas.
That's super good. It's like crypto too.
Facts. Let's see here. A modern person's lifetime.
That's different. I think we'll see a massive change in terms of demand of what people want. I think that it'll become more of a flex to spend less time on your phone. I think analog experiences will become more of a thing. And I think the consumption that is done will be, hopefully, places of more substance, nuance, all those things. Because it's kind of like media is our consumption diet for our brain, right? As a people, when enough people make the world bad because everyone got fat eating the wrong things, like eventually we start to wise up. You know what I'm saying? So I think that'll kind of happen here within the consumption of our media too, but we'll see how it goes.
Super fair, man. This next one is how it feels after making the first payment on a 30-year loan. I can't imagine doing that job.
Filling that up?
That would just be so frightening. First off, like, is that actually how they're going to fill that? Like, there's no way that's how that's going to happen. That would take years.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe some really shit by way that, or maybe that's just excess and they're trying to dump it.
Yeah, something like that, bro. But yeah, like, just even doing that, dude, like backing the truck up to that dude and having the thing, like, no, dude, I've seen too many videos of crazy stuff happening, bro. I couldn't do it.
No, that's definitely scary.
Let's see here. There was one story that I did miss that I wanted us to touch on because I thought this was pretty entertaining. It comes from Dave Ramsey. Someone was on the show and made a request or had a question for Dave, and I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on this situation here. Oh, here we go.
My question is that my dad and his wife have asked my husband and I for a large sum of money to pay off their debt. My husband and I are retired and we are debt free, but now we are on a fixed limited income. We do not have what they are asking in the bank. it would require us to take a draw out of our retirement accounts. And we don't want to do that. And I want to respond to Dad with facts and data and not emotion, because I am very emotional and he is a great salesman.
So what's your net worth?
Oh, we are millionaires in the bank.
Yeah.
Untouchable money.
1 million or 10? What's your net worth?
Oh, I don't know exactly. My husband knows the exact numbers.
Well, give me a round guess.
I don't know. It's 2.
Okay.
2 to 3.
All right. And how old are you?
I don't know. I am 56 and he is 57.
Okay. All right. And how much money do they want?
$55,000.
For what?
Specifically, they say to pay off 3 credit cards and a car loan.
What is the premise that you should give them $55,000? Just because you got some money?
Because his statement, my dad's statement was, in order to get ahead and be able to do anything in their later years, they want this debt to be gone.
So get a job.
Keith, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
That's hard on him. So her dad is 80 years old. Okay. Asking for 55 grand to pay off his credit card and car loan debt. People on the internet are not digging this. All right.
In what direction?
She's got 2 to 3 mil. And her dad's asking for 55K. You know, people are like, dude's 80. What job is he going to get?
Brand One says, if he is such a salesman, he should sell some stuff. What would you do in this situation?
I mean, the problem was, and some people called this out too, is that he's trying to coerce her. Like they're trying to guilt her into giving them the money.
I think it's something that she should have just, it's something that maybe should have just been offered if they did have the means to do it. Asking, I think, is crazy. In my opinion. Like, I would never ask my kid that.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, also you're 80. So there's the two sides of that. Two sides to that. Obviously, they can't work. But then the next thought is like, how much time you got left, brother? Like both in terms of that, and that can go both ways. It's like, pay off the dude's 55 grand. Like he's got 2 years left to live. Let him live his life. And the other side of that is like, how about you don't even think about the debt? Just go do what you want to do. Like you got a couple years left. You know what I'm saying? Never really know. Obviously, hopefully you have many more years left. Yeah.
It's a really good point by RD here too. He asked for 55K to pay off debt. Does that matter? Like what's their debt situation too? And how bad are they with money? There's a lot of things that go into this too. I don't think it's a black and white case, because
I see.
Knowing what you can afford to do, if you know that you're basically lighting the money on fire, giving it to this person, is that still the right thing to do?
Right.
Like I've had that in my life where like people have been like, oh, Ben, should I give them the money? And I'm like, F no, even though they could afford it, but because that person had lit money on fire like 100 times, you think 101 is the time they stop it? Right? Like let them fall, let them figure it out on their own. So again, this guy's an old guy. I'm referring to younger people, but yeah, it's a difficult situation.
Yeah. Definitely not an easy answer to that. But definitely also, I like the first thing that you said. It's like, am I going to go to my kid, like who I've wanted their life to be amazing?
Bro, I would sleep on the street before I would ask my child for money. 110%. There's no way. Maybe my ego is too big, but I would sleep outside before I would ask my daughter for money. No shot. There's 0% chance, like 0. And I don't think a man would take that money, dude. Because like, what is your point? Like, you're supposed to be a provider, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's old and too traditional, but there's no shot I would do that. And if the roles were reversed and I was like that, I would be the guy who I wouldn't even like ask. I would say, my question would be, how much do you need? It wouldn't be like, do you need anything? Right. But I think everyone's completely different, and it all depends on the person too. ZMF says, do you have kids? I don't have kids.
No, yeah. I can't even really fully picture it. I mean, like, I'm thinking like 2 to 3 mil. Also, like, back to this conversation. Now we're talking about life's work, right? That they're in their 50s now. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've done their part. They've done their jobs. So they're sitting on 2 to 3 mil. That's not like crazy amounts of money, and it's their retirement money. So this was to come out of their retirement where they could probably retire pretty soon. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then now not, and it's not like 55,000 is going to make that big of a difference. But once again, it's that question of, is that going to be used to pay off this debt? And then what, right? Then what after that?
And most of the time when people are asking for money, if they actually ask for it, it's because they know their ass with money. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've had that in my life where like people in my life that I care about, like, people will come to them asking for money, and I'm just like, just look through the track record. Is this a good decision? Like, clearly not, but you're gonna do it. And so then it becomes a bad situation. So I think you have to look at every independent situation independently. And I think that's why there is no blanket solution to it. But anything else that you have to add, Keith?
No, but that's a fun thought experiment for
That's
sure.
awesome. Yeah, that's I think that's really what one of my favorite things about this show is seeing how different people respond to different situations.
Most certainly, man.
Because if he's a finesser and he's trying to get that money out of you, like, that's kind of crazy. Because that's like, yeah, I don't, because everyone knows that guy, right? Who would consider. Here's the other thing too. If he really was a good salesman, would he be poor? Would he need your money? Do you know what I'm saying? Like people have used that exact same scenario with me. Like, I'm like, why'd you give him the money? He's like, well, he's like really convincing. And I'm like, well, then why does he not have a job? He doesn't give a fuck about you. If you really cared, you would use those skills that you're using in the time to try to convince me to give you this money to go solve your problem yourself. People show you how much they care about you, right? Like, because the person who is in that loser mentality will be like, oh, just give me the money. Like, you have it. It's like, yes, but I have it because I was always thinking about avoiding this situation and never putting my family in this situation. Of course, some things are beyond your control. Don't get me wrong. But I think most of the people in this situation that would ask for this, they're being very, very selfish. And if they didn't have that mentality, they'd probably solve.
Yeah, and then that other, like, if this were not credit card and auto loan debt, right? Like, if it was like a medical debt, that also I think changes the conversation.
110%, 110%, right? Like, if someone came to me and I even had any of the money and it's like a life or death thing or medical stuff, oh, no questions asked. This is sheer optional.
Yeah.
Scammer more than sales.
Yeah, and then
what's up?
Yeah. Well, it's because how are you now? It says, doesn't the debt shift to the family at death anyway? So I was like, yeah, that's why I'm like, so like, just if I'm gonna have to inherit this debt anyways, and don't worry about it, do your thing. I'm gonna let my stuff keep compounding, and then you die, and it'd be good.
And hopefully I outrun that.
Plus, the life insurance policy would cover that if you have life insurance.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know any of these things. I've been fortunate where I don't know that many people that have died.
Yeah. So instead of me prepaying your debt, your life insurance policy would pay that off, and we'll help you set that up if you haven't got it set up yet.
Yeah, but that's a fascinating thing that, it's so crazy to think about, because it also goes the other way too, where now so many parents and boomers are in a situation where they have a lot of wealth that they really don't deserve. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they were just in the right place at the right time, and by being born in that time, you've accumulated way more resources than, say, like the younger generation because of all of those compounding effects. So I think more it should be going the other way. Like, I think that older people should be helping out younger people a lot more, because I know it's easy, because like if they're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing, right? If they're actually working hard and all that stuff and helping it with a down payment, I think that could make some sense, because that's not, you're not trying, it's the game changed.
Right.
Does that make any sense?
Totally. Yeah. No, 100%, man. And then What a Cell made a cool statement. It's like loaning money for friends and family, for instance, never quite works out.
Yeah.
Make it a gift and move on.
Yeah.
If it's not, it eventually ruins relationship. Totally.
Yeah.
I always look at it that way.
Oh yeah. If you're giving it away, you got to assume you're not getting it back, unfortunately.
For sure, bro. And it has most of the time played out that way. Yeah, luckily never
ZMF says,
big amounts.
yeah, kind of judgy, Ben. Who says who deserves what, really? Well, if we're talking about the capitalistic environment that we're told that we're operating within, value is supposed to accrue to the people who are providing more value. But if the value that you're now saying can still buy my hours of like time was made during a time where that was just easy as fuck, then yeah, I don't think you deserve it. In terms of like what we're saying we're doing here, that's my two thing is that philosophically, of course, who deserves what? I don't think like all of this stuff is nonsense in terms of like who deserves what. So I just think that thinking about what it is that we're told we're operating in within every day, or like why I can't have the things that I can't have. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
it.
Yeah. Well said. Cool. I guess time to talk some community.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you see something else in the chat you wanted to respond to?
No, I just I lost your camera. Can you guys still see Keith?
I don't know.
See, but can you see him? Cool. It's a me problem. You're good to go. And no, I just saw that RD had said, "Is it the same if the 80-year-old has cancer? Do you treat the cancer?" I totally, 100%. Like that wouldn't even be a question for sure.
For sure. But that is kind of a good framing too, because cause what I was saying of like how much time you have left, like you can't, like I don't think that's like the right way to look at it per se, right? Like,
yeah, it's
no.
I think it's a display of care in those situations. People do that with their animals too. Like my sister was forced with the choice of spending money they couldn't afford to keep their dog alive for another year or two, and they spent the money without even really thinking about it, right? Because they cared that much. What's up, Asipa? Oh, so you aren't here.
Okay.
I thought you said he was.
All right, let me refresh.
Got it.
Okay, I'm gonna leave.
See you in a second, Keith. The tech that we deal with to stream, guys, is a royal pain in the arse because it does a lot of stuff and it's cloud-based. So a lot of things can go wrong. So they do go wrong. A lot of variables on their side and our side. But how are we all doing? Can't see Keith. Yeah, don't worry, Mary. He's coming right back. Hey, from Greece. Hail from Greece community. Dogs get better healthcare than me. Are you using Restream? No, we are currently using Riverside. I still can't see Keith.
You see me now?
Now I can. Yes, I can. Proceed.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So we had Jessica Hawk on last week at My Teacher Face. That was an awesome episode.
I knew she'd get some people pissed.
A couple of comments. Yeah, it was cool to see the live chat. You guys were having some words. Now let's see some of the comments that we had as well. How are you now? Said she's talking about dancing with the teachers in school programs, but then brings up the Gay Straight Alliance. She thinks the numbers were dropping due to screens. I doubt it. Parents started pulling their kids out of these classes due to the ideology involved in these programs. Said, how are you now?
Yeah, I don't know enough about the whole teacher stuff to speak on it with any sort of validity. I just know that everything gets sensationalized, so I don't know.
No idea. And then at 13 minutes, how are you now? Said she talks about how kids no longer problem solve, parents intervene too early, and that they're not given the freedom to explore and grow. That is overgeneralized and just not true. The entire reason I homeschool is so that my children can have these opportunities and life experiences. It's the institutionalized schools that these things happen. That's fair, yes. No throwing snowballs, no Red Rover, no climbing trees, no playing on ice, no name call. are all things you hear in schools. You would never hear any of this in our nature school programs. We teach to talk respectfully to each other, but an adult's intervention is unnecessary over name calling. Interesting.
Can you
Interesting
zoom in
there.
on the comments? Sharp is saying it's hard to see. Here we go.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So on this one, I mean, you seem to have your own situation, but that's definitely not the standard for what that looks like.
I think the difficult thing about speaking about these very emotionally charged subjects is that how do you not generalize and have a conversation, right? Like everyone has to generalize at some point or another, and then people typically attack the generalization and say it's generalization. It's like, yes, that is always going to happen. So I hear both sides. Like, how are you now? I totally get what you're saying, but she also can't like think through that and still have a conversation too at the same time. So there's a lot of things I did not agree with her with at all. And I'm sure that there's many things that if we were in a room together, we would not see eye to eye. But I do try to see the perspective of the people that I even disagree with, probably even more than my own, so that I don't get like too crazy.
Totally. Yeah, and then no name calling. I mean, I thought at first you were saying that you just don't have to do that because you're teaching people to speak respectfully. But then you said that an adult's intervention is unnecessary over name calling. I think that's interesting. I mean, if kids are calling people out of their name, like, well, so then my response is, well, then you should allow that kid to do something about it. Then if not, if someone else isn't going to intervene,
like let him punch him.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever that response may be, basically.
Man, kids should get hit, man. I'm telling you, like by other kids, maybe not their parents, but it was important for people, especially dudes, especially. I'm not saying I can't speak for girls, but there were so many times where a kid was being crazy and then he got punched and then he stopped being so crazy.
Simple as that.
Yeah, it really is that simple.
Yeah. And then let's see, what's the next piece? 2710. Go back to a life that was only pretty good for white cis men. Okay, yeah. So he doesn't agree with that talk. Child free by choice. It sounds like it was encouraged on her from a young age. I believe this is more of a programmed ideology. Just my opinion. I respect her. Can't say I resonate.
Yeah, How Are You Now is always super respectful. So we appreciate you spending the time to go through the comments and yeah, everyone's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but the only way this show remains what we say it's supposed to be is if we have on people that we don't agree with, right? And still also show them courtesy and respect. And it, because like I could have challenged a lot of the things that I disagreed with more, but would that have been constructive to our limited time that I had with her, right? Like the context of the conversation matters. Like a lot of times people will be like, why didn't you challenge her on that? It's like, yeah, and then monopolize the conversation and us get none of the value that she could have potentially shared, right? So if the context calls for a debate, then the debate can take place, but that's not what this is all the time.
Yeah, and I think that might be the framing to think through it as, because like each person's first show, like it's very intimidating to say, well, first off, we don't know your viewpoints until you come on the show. So that's the first thing. It's like, okay, like what's your take? Like, okay, cool. Now we have your take for an hour and a half. You want to come back on and like redo this and maybe that gets framed as more of a debate, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. I think that could be a more constructive way to look at how we end up doing some of these, because yeah, maybe we could do that.
Yeah, I think that's we ran into a similar thing when we had Peter. Very, very similar thing where people got super mad at us and like Peter Diamandis, sorry, where we didn't like attack him on points and things of that nature, but we're on a fixed time on the first go. And I think the appropriate way to do it is to not say how bad anyone was or dumb anyone was for things going like that, being like aware of the situation. If this is the first time you're meeting someone, are you going to instantly go there? No, you probably built them before. And then you say, okay, now we can have this conversation because we're coming to it with some common ground, respect, and then you have the debate, right?
Totally. Yeah. When you this is an interesting thought. When you have a disagreement with your friends, it's debate. When you have a disagreement with someone that you don't know, it's an argument.
Fight. Yeah. That's a really, really important distinction. We need to first become friends for us to have that kind of constructive conversation, because otherwise we're just yelling at each other.
Yeah. And then, so Josh Dolder responded to this. He said, "Was a hard watch. Have to turn it off now. From ex-teacher to just anti-men and anti-marriage just because of her grandmother's divorce. And then Henry now responded to that. He said, it's fascinating to me that someone who has zero interest in having children of her own, she thinks that she has the answers for other people's children. Poorly worded, but I think you understand. And then she thinks her institutionalized trained mind understands children's best interest better than the intuition of a parent. Oof.
Yeah. Interesting perspectives.
I do hear you. I do hear it. At Mindset Jewel 777, I ponder how aware you both are, and especially Keith, as to how much anti-Black racism is baked into the code of arguably all AI. It's definitely not being talked about enough, but hopefully apps like Aisha can bring more awareness to this pertinent issue.
Kind of felt like an ad, but
yeah, I'm like checking out what is this link.
I clicked it. It's basically so that it is a complex thing to consider, I guess, is that right? Like if the media is trained on publicly accessible media and it says certain narratives, then the AI would continue those potentially harmful narratives, is what they're saying, I guess. And so this is enacting for that, I guess, by understanding where that could be present and stopping it. So I don't know too much about the product, but from my very quick introduction to it, it seems like it's trying to counteract that. And yeah, anything to add on there?
No, I mean, it's definitely been documented that tech in general, right, has these inherent biases. There's biases in the people who are building.
Too. Yeah.
So definitely something that's a concern. And I guess when it comes to like building something that could end up being like an autonomous system, that would definitely be something that would be super concerning.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's
fair.
I think decentralized code is a great way to do that, right? Where people can see what's going on too, and maybe see the source of a lot of these things. So that's another thing to consider too. But we also, I don't want to forget, we also did say that we would touch on the comment that we were supposed to ask.
Yeah, and where was that comment? Because I wasn't understanding that.
Yeah, so go to our community, our channel. And then click posts, because we were going live at a different time. We had said that we're going to be live earlier.
Gotcha.
And then we did have, I believe it was Self-Reliance, ask a question that I totally gaffed on. Right? So the comments there. So we'll try to, I know it's not who you wanted to ask them to, but we'll try our best.
Self-Reliance OS said, hate to miss it, but I'll be hiking to the top of a 13,000-foot mountain tomorrow morning with my girlfriend. Hope you've been enjoying that. That's awesome. Be looking forward to the replay. He said I should ask, what are the highest ROI exercises, tools, lessons, or questions you've personally found for cultivating an identity capable of building a meaningful life? Looking back, what sequence would you recommend for someone who wants to intentionally deconstruct their inherited identity and rebuild from first principles?
Really good questions. Why don't I take one, you take the other?
Sure.
Take whichever one calls to you more.
I don't know that I'm a high ROI exercises guy.
Okay.
Recommend someone who wants to intentionally deconstruct their inherited identity, rebuild one from first principles. I mean, one of the most extreme things that I recommended to someone, and this was my friend who's dealing with major loss. I was like, dude, you should go on a retreat and like unplug and talk to people who spend all their time doing these kinds of things. Like, yeah, you could go to a therapist, but I think it's a very different thing compared to like being with peers who like really want to see you. And I don't know, I've actually never done it. So I'm suggesting something that I've never done, but that I would love to do. For deconstructing your identity and stuff, it's like, you got to get outside, both literally, go outside, and physically being with people who don't know you, but who can help you to see yourself. Anyways, that's just the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah, I think a good practice that you can do, and there's so many of these practices, a lot like meditation, how we've discussed that if you do it enough, you can basically turn any sort of activity into a meditation. I see the same sort of thing through any sort of thought exercise as well. So like one thing that I constantly think about when I'm going through the world is the 7 layers of why, in terms of it's an exercise where you got to ask yourself why 7 times and be honest with yourself before you can even attempt to assume you understand anything about anything or anyone. And so when you get into that questioning mindset and you do it against yourself as well, I think that's a very powerful exercise, is challenging even your most strongly held beliefs all the time, and understanding that adjusting those beliefs with new data, although it's contrary to what we've been taught, is a very good trait. It is a trait that makes you difficult to control, which is why as it's been weaponized against us.
Totally, man. I think that's great.
Yeah, cool. And then Tio said, what about dealing with conflict or building relationships? Would love a little bit like more. Are you saying we're specific to those questions that we were asked? I think a lot of conflict and building relationships, they're both confidence questions, right? Because a conflict is only scary if it going poorly, whatever that looks like, is that big of a deal to you.
Yeah. Gosh.
If it's not physical or dangerous, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. It's a very different situation.
I'm more so meaning like tough conversations and stuff like that.
Yeah. I was talking to someone just the other day about like, they had like a really close friend who, it was a guy and a girl, and like they had like something between them, but one of them was like, yo, this is deeper than what you're treating this way deeper than you're treating it as. Like this, we're hanging out too much, basically. And she brought this up to him. And then he was just like, he just disappeared. And I was trying to figure out like I don't know, have all the context. I don't know anything. And I'm just like, you know, I can only really listen. But one thing that has come to me recently, we talked about it with the rugged counseling guy. It's like, when you have something that's super meaningful to you, like sometimes you have to be the one to like be the bigger person and like dig in super deep into someone else's BS, into their own wrongdoings, right? They've done you wrong, objectively. And sometimes you still might go a little bit above and beyond to try and cultivate and save what's there, if it's that important to you. So it's also another thing is like, I think a lot of times we let our ego, and in this situation, like it was pretty bad. Like you also have to preserve your dignity, right? So you can't go too far. But the thing is like, as men especially, we tend to let our egos get in the way of building healthy relationships with people, where it's like, oh, he didn't reach out to me, or he doesn't treat me the way that I treat him, or
girls do that too.
And probably. But I think the difference might be is, are you going to say something about it though?
I think most people don't.
Most people don't.
They have fights with like in the back of their mind.
Yeah.
The person. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's where it gets to be to where, I mean, it's a massive level up in your life when you start to address problems that you have with people, because it does two things. First off, you don't feel the way that you feel, because sometimes it's just a miscommunication. And then secondly, you can actually get the behavior that you would like, right? When you actually tell them or ask them, like, because they might not be trying to offend you or hurt you or anything like that. So very specific answers to that question. But like, the last thing that I'll say on all this is like, we expect to come into the world and like just know how to navigate these things without necessarily having a whole lot of context or people that teach us these things. So it actually, like, this came up on the pod with one of our guests. Like, I think it might have been rugged counseling. Read a book about these things too. Like, parents, for instance, like, if I'm going to have a kid, I'm going to read a lot of books about it. Like, you're expected to just know how to be a parent, but like, there's a lot of information and data and context that like you don't have, especially if your parents didn't do that too, you know? So anyways. Yeah.
Great thoughts. Yeah. I think the balance to be struck there, building off of what How Are You Now said earlier too, is that I think the path, not necessarily least resistance, but I think what would lead to the best outcomes is a combination of collecting as many good data sources as possible, but also leaning on your intuition for what makes the most sense for you as one of the only people, whatever, that knows the variables of what you're looking for too. And to do that, like to use your intuition effectively, I think you need enough stimulus to really know with any degree of conviction, like what does even feel the best. I think a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I'm trusting my intuition." It's like, no, you stopped asking questions sometimes. I'm not saying that's what's going on with How Are You Now whatsoever, but I'm saying for a lot of people, they'll use that as a get out of jail free card. Like, I'm trusting my intuition. I'm going with my gut. It's like, no, you're being lazy. You know what I mean?
Very interesting thought there. Yep.
So, yeah, a lot of stuff, but that's all from me.
Cool, man. Just a couple things in the chat. Lee Entertainment said, "Learn jujitsu, and you'll be better at conflict."
How is your BJJ going?
I only went to one class, man. It's been super hard for me to I'd either have to get up really early and go, or do it at night, and it just doesn't. I hate eating before I work out, and the time it's at would require me to eat before I work out, and it's just it's messing with me. So
I'm sure
I'll
you'll
figure it
find a
out though.
rhythm. Totally.
And then
Mary said, "Can't fix stupid. Best to move on if possible." Yeah, I think I would maybe swap stupid for stubborn, because I really don't think that many people are dumb or stupid per se. Even though I use that word all the time, it's just because they've stopped going beyond where they are currently, so they're static. And I think if you know that person is like that, and the easy thing to go to is basically if someone has religious levels of conviction in their opinions, then you're probably wasting your time, right? So then that no amount of words could ever make them change their mind. Then removal of their access to you is probably the appropriate course of action. But it all depends.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and I think that's the end of the thing is just getting to that point, right? To where you can understand that that's what it is, sometimes people close to you will make the excuse of, "Oh, I am just this way."
Yeah, it's the way I am. Yeah.
And I'm gonna I've had to bring that idea up. All right, you're telling me that this is just who you are.
Yeah.
And I'm bringing to your face that that's a decision to make, right? About how you're going to live your life. And then from there, if there's still issues, then or if they're not going to acknowledge that and say, okay, that's fair. I will continue to think about these things. If they're not at that place, then sometimes you will have to let people go at some point,
Yeah. People would rather hold on to pain than sacrifice an identity, even when that's not serving them. It's pretty wild.
Most certainly.
Yeah, How Are You Now? I would agree, of course. Gut feeling, obviously, is, again, we're generalizing the feeling. That's something that's difficult to express in words. Like politics.
Yeah.
But that's all for me. Anything else from you, Keith?
No, that's it for me, man.
Cool, man. I think I already pulled my challenges for the day, but don't forget about no dice, people. We now are at a state, guys, where there is no excuse not to use no dice. Go ahead, pull your challenges.
All right, let's make the pull. Please don't make me talk to people.
Yeah.
Okay, I only have to say hi to 5 strangers.
That's easy enough.
Yeah.
I got 5 compliments. It is crazy though how people light up when they get a compliment, man. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, that's No Dice 45, guys. If you want to take on the No Dice 45 challenge, if you feel like you need a reset, we have if you're struggling with gambling, you can block the gambling apps, but we also have a doom scrolling or screen time mode where you can restrict access to all the doom scrolling apps, like let's say Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever it is for you. And then you're limiting that to an hour a day while you go through and do these challenges. And each one that you do, you earn time back to use your app. Use the apps that you want through, or that you shouldn't be using that much, but you want to be using, kind of deal. Build a better relationship with your phone. But we now also have the daily dues addition to the app. So basically now, if you don't want to do a challenge in terms of the whole No Dice 45 challenge, which we think is a great way to show support for the things that we care about, but you can also just use No Dice to optimize your life and your relationship with your phone. So what the daily dues is basically you set the criteria of how much time you're willing to spend on certain apps, and then what tasks you want to do every single day, and you only earn the time that you want to use through doing the things that you know you have to do. So now anyone can use No Dice to build a better relationship with their phone. Did I miss anything?
No, man. Super exciting times. Yeah, this is really meant to be, not only are we standing up to and talking out against the complete BS of what's happening in the world of gambling, but it's also about just taking agency over your life in general, right? Like everyone here has something that we want to be doing more of and things that we probably would like to be doing less of. And how can we use tools, right, that we have at our disposal to make that easier for us?
Mhm.
And that's what No Dice is all about.
Very well said. I don't think there's anyone out there that couldn't benefit from an app like No Dice where you're taking control over your attention again. So even if you don't want to go through the challenges whatsoever, I would encourage and challenge any of you to go through it, because I can guarantee your life will get better over that time. But even if you're just saying, I need something to regulate my relationship, we also have a free trial. So I really recommend people doing is, most people grossly underestimate how much time they spend on their phone and how addicted they are to it, right? So it's like, go in and set up what you think your day looks like with your daily dues. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, if people think, oh, I only spend an hour a day doom scrolling, like, go see over the course of the free trial and see if you're a lot more addicted than you realize.
Love that. Absolutely. Can you actually just spend an hour a day on your phone or on your Instagram or whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
Like, if that's no big deal,
Go do it.
download No Dice.
Yeah.
Check it out.
And No Dice also has the custom blocking sessions as well, so that you can really create whatever it is that you want. So like, let's say it's your kid who's always on their phone, right? And you don't want them to ever be able to be on their phone around dinner. Like, you could get them No Dice, become their accountability partner, and then if they were trying to break their phone or be on their phone, you would be notified that took place. So there's a lot of ways where we want to give you the tools to allow you to continue to access the great things that come from technology, but not be owned by the technology, more or less.
Love it. Spot on.
Cool. Well, yeah, and then so go download that. We have the free trial. Keith's courses are in there. They're awesome. They're only accessible there. They are also free. And if you enjoy what you see in there, giving us a 5-star rating in the Apple App Store or the Android App Store helps out a ton. And if you appreciate the things that we talk about, that we do, you can definitely get value from an app like No Dice. So definitely go take advantage.
Fantastic. And you can find the link to that in the description down below.
Yes,
Check it
yes.
out.
Cool. Well, that's everything for me. Anything else from you, Keith?
That's it for me, folks.
Cool.
Make today the best day of your life.
That's it. That's it. Thank you all to all of you in the chat. Thanks you to producer Asipa and RD, of course, all of y'all for holding it down. How are you now, everyone? You're all awesome. Thank you for hanging out with us. Always a pleasure. Be the light that you want to see, and we'll see all of y'all on Thursday. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Peace.